Hello and welcome to the Ride the Wave show. I'm your host, as always, Clay Archer. We're back after a much-needed week off, getting some things in order, and honestly just taking a damn break. We had a lot of fun over this last week. There was a lot of amazing things that happened in the sports world. The NCAA tournament started. One tournament ended, the OHSAA basketball tournament, and the wrestling tournament, which is in lieu of a couple of guests that we'll have on today. We do have a jam-packed show. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about, but can't do that without introducing two of my favorite people in the world, the Tony Tone in the house today, as well as Adam Badubs here. I'm going to give you guys a round of applause myself because I love you. How you guys feeling on this fine Monday?
All living the dream, never waking up, baby.
Heck yeah. I like we talked about before the show, I got to do something crazy today. Did a whole phone sale through Google Translate as I told Adam, very, very rare language, Turkish.
Yeah.
And I felt like, because sometimes I feel like when I'm talking with somebody that speaks Spanish or stuff like that, I can kind of pick up on what they're trying to say. No idea what this guy was
It's rough,
trying to say
dude.
the
It's
whole
like
time.
growing up around Russian,
Yeah.
same thing. It's like
For
you
me,
look
for
at
me,
it,
it was Somalian is one of the harder ones to understand.
Yeah, dude, it's because I felt like he said 5 words that meant 5 different things. You know what I mean? It was hard to pick up. But hey, shout out Google Translate.
Sometimes it don't always work though, because the translation will be off.
Yeah. So there's a couple of times where it was saying the same thing.
And they kind of just look at the phone and look
Yeah.
at you, and it's like,
So-
I'm not sure that's what I want to convey.
So
or how.
when we started, he just gave me the phone and assumed that I knew how this app worked. I mean, I work at a phone store, so I feel like I probably should. And I was like, yeah. So at first, I was trying to translate, but I was translating Turkish to Turkish. So I was just talking into it. It was just not good. But hey, got him a phone. That's all that matters. So, but let's get into some real topics. First off, let's talk about why I got this amazing plaque. The celebrity basketball game got our asses whooped. So, congratulations to the Blazers. That was a crazy experience. I got crossed up a couple of times. Dion came out. He was dropping bombs on people, and then we had Noah in there that hit a 3. He made sure we knew it. I mean, it was intense, man.
I mean, I make sure people know when I make a shot too. Come on now, give him some respect. I love it. And the crossover, Clay, we just don't have what we used to.
We don't.
It's
We do not. And so, and here's the crazy thing. I really did not know how this was going to go. First time there. And
Elaborate on what it was.
So what this was, it was not just a celebrity basketball game. So it's a fundraiser that they do for the Pioneer Center, I think, and for just the Special Olympics and everything like that. But it ended up also being their awards banquet. So we got to see them get awards from the season. They had the cheerleaders there. It was a jam-packed house. I mean, stands was it Chillicothe Gym? The whole bottom level was completely sold out. There's a lot of cool people that I got to play with, but none cooler than Clay Beeler himself. I got to do with him. Now, we were totally expecting to just hit the bench the entire time. And then the legendary, great Alan Blue got to be our coach.
Let's go.
Yeah, we let him down bad. We got
right.
blown out. But so me and Clay kind of decided, hey, we'll just kind of be bench warmers. We'll stay at the end. Yeah, Alan put us in the starting lineup.
Let's go.
And so Alan is yelling at Coach Beeler, hey, get some rebounds, box out. Well, he takes him out and says, you're out because you don't rebound. I need someone to rebound. And so the crazy thing was, this is how I knew Alan was taking this serious. I wanted to win for this guy. But he's going through, and we're making subs. And he points to the gentleman next to Coach Beeler. He goes, you're in. And he gets Coach B, he goes, definitely not you. And then goes to the next guy, and Coach was like, I guess there's something wrong. And I was like, rebound.
You heard him.
He's like, I need
He said it
rebound.
right to your face.
So that was a whole lot of fun. He got booed when he made the opening layup. Whole crowd booed him. I was like, come on, man. Can't be. So, but yeah, that was a fun time, man. Shout out to Lori Graves. She's the one that invited me out to do that. And it was honestly super awesome. We got to interview some of the players at the end.
Now, this was a celebrity game. Can you please tell the viewing audience your expertise?
No.
Sports expert.
I saw the
expert, baby.
it said Clay
I am not a
Archer,
sports
Rod Wave. It
expert.
says
I just talk about sports.
expert. And I was like, I sat there and thought about it, but who knows more about sports than somebody that watched it their entire life, played a ton of different ones, and still stays around.
I mean,
so.
I would definitely say I know sports, but the expertise, like once you watch me play that basketball game, you're like, expert.
Yeah, but just because you don't play it, I
That's
mean,
true.
Brad
Hey, those who
Stevens
don't
never played a
do
lick of
coach.
basketball.
And those that can't coach.
No, I messed up. It's those who
Can't.
can't do teach and those who can't teach. Coach.
Jim.
Jim.
That's what it was.
Teach Jim.
Yeah,
Teach Jim.
because
Yeah.
he says it to the gym teacher.
Ah.
I was like, what was the joke for that?
Yeah.
But man, that was awesome. Now Noah, the one that hit the three, I wish I remembered his last name. I just, for the life of me, I can't. He made the claim. The Blazers are winning state this year. They're going back to back. And honestly, after watching them, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think, you put them in the tournament, they ain't losing. If they play like they did that night, they got a big man. They got a couple of big men. They got some shooters, and they're a pretty well-rounded team.
One of my favorite things is when you were talking about it, you were like, I like the fact that it was an award banquet, and then they just went out and played afterwards.
Yeah.
I think that high school should do that. It's like, all right, awards banquet, now we're doing a scrimmage 5-on. Or
a skills competition.
Yeah,
I was thinking that high school should take notes. I was like,
Yeah.
like you said, could you imagine showing up? Now, imagine, because they didn't eat. But imagine if you still showed up, ate, got your award, and then went out there. But yeah, like Noah said, watch out for the Blazers to win state this year. Now, someone that knows a little bit about not winning just a state title, but knows about winning pretty much, if there's a championship and it has been created and it's the first year that they're having that championship, there's one thing we know. And there's one thing that you guys know is that Cindy Hausman is going to win that championship.
100%.
And we're not talking about a state title in basketball. We're not talking state title in volleyball. We're not talking the first SEC tournament champion. We're talking about an also Olympic champion, the one and only, Cindy Hausman.
Thank you, Clay.
Cindy, how's it going today?
Very good.
All right.
Other than I just witnessed the Lady Vols lose to NC State.
Okay, so I was watching that at work. I should have been doing more working than that, but I was watching. I was seeing how that game goes, and I'm glad you got to let me know. I thought the Vols were going to pull that one out there.
I did too, and they were in it till the end. Came down to free throws for NC State, but they won by 6 or 8.
Now, I'm glad we
love the
started off on
uniforms
this
they were in.
because
Sorry,
this
folks,
is
I
exactly where I wanted to go conversation-wise for you. Now, we all know you, Cindy Hausman, is pivotal athlete, at least around here. We know at Tennessee, you were a star player. When you take Caitlin Clark and you see what she's done for the game and how, I mean, people are more excited for this year's women's NCAA tournament more than ever.
Hands down.
How has a former college, not just college player, great college player like you, taken how and watched how Caitlin Clark has changed the game? How does that make you feel, and what are your views on it?
Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal
She
basketball player, not just a shooter.
Yeah.
She gives up the ball and leads in assists and rebounds, and she has done a lot for the girls game in her tenure at Iowa. And it's great to see little kids in the stands with Clark jerseys on. And
I'm telling you, right now, I'm more excited to go watch an Indiana Fever game next year than I am to watch an Indiana Pacers
Well,
game.
when you look at it and you see her going up against Steph Curry and things like that, you're putting him against the GOAT for a lot of shooters right now, period. So I think it gives her another element of respect, and I think it helped branch it a little bit.
And what I like about her and, about Angel Reese and pretty much the whole South Carolina team is that they play their way. They bring the trash talk.
I don't like Angel Reese that much. I'm sorry. She was playing some really sloppy ball, very
what I like about her
lazy.
is, though, that she's not afraid to, like, where she's like, I'm from Baltimore. We trash talk. Like, I'm not going to change that about myself. And Caitlin Clark, I feel like what has really transcended her is her attitude towards the game. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, you can see when you watch her play that she just hates to lose. And I feel like coming from you, Cindy, that's something that you can relate to because I've seen you as a coach. You do not like to lose.
I do not, and I was taught by the perfect person.
Right.
I was I mowed today, and as I was mowing, I thought, I wonder what kind of questions Clay is going to ask, or the group of you.
Right.
And I thought, he's going to ask something about getting to the Final Four. I never won a national championship, but we got to the Final Four every year.
Yeah.
And it was just a given. There was no doubt in our mind that we were going to make it to the Final Four. And if there was a doubt in your mind, you were on the bench collecting splinters or you were transferring out.
Heck yeah.
And that's just the way and mindset Pat had, and she pushed that on to all of her players.
And is that something that in the recruiting process? I mean, I feel like if I was Pat Summitt, which I can't even relate to being the greatest coach of all time, coming in and it's like, hey, you're coming to UT, you're coming here to go to Final Fours. You're not coming here to win games. You're coming here to win the games. Is that kind of something that was in her recruiting pitch?
Oh yeah. But when I went there, Pat was only 6 years older than I was.
Oh wow.
So when I was 19, she was 25.
Right.
Now, was that
still
because
trying
the
to
sport was so new? Or I should say, like,
Yeah.
okay.
And in fact, when the year before I was recruited by her, she had just gotten the Tennessee job in 75. And in 76, she was on the Olympic team as a player.
Oh wow.
And then went back to Tennessee, and that kind of helped some of her recruiting.
Right.
A couple of the girls from the Olympic team went to Tennessee after that point.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Because they knew the competitor that she was, and that's the kind of player she did recruit. You can tell if a kid's competitive or a slacker, and
Yeah. And I feel like, did that help you as a player? Like, okay, she's not saying this just like as a coach, it's never went. I mean, she's also went through what she's telling me to do. Does that kind of help bridge that gap between player and coach with her?
it did. It does. And, there were players that might not have been the caliber of player that she wanted at Tennessee in her early years. And they ended up transferring somewhere else because her expectations were above some people's abilities.
Right.
But
was there a specific powerhouse at that time that kept you out of the national championships? Just jumping back to that, I was thinking if you made it to the Final Fours, was there somebody stopping you from that or specific?
Well, there was about 6 teams that were just powerhouses. That 4 of those teams made it to the Final Four every year, and it was Louisiana Tech, which had Kim Mulkey, who now
coaches at LSU.
Coaches
right?
at LSU.
Okay. Yeah.
Old Dominion, they were a powerhouse.
Oh, really?
Tennessee,
ODU.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
USC.
did you get to play against Kim? Whenever she's
yeah.
You did. How was it like? Because watching her coach, I mean, she's got all the fire in the world.
A lot
I mean,
of passion.
you could definitely tell the
passion.
passion's there. And from what I've watched on SportsCenter and everything, it seems like that's how she was as a player. But asking you, coming from the horse, how was it like getting to play against her?
Well, I played against her and with her on the summer USA basketball teams. And when I played against her, I won't use the strong word that I was going to, but I did not like her. I did not like her, but when I played with her,
You loved her.
the point guard was always my friend because that's who got me the ball.
Yeah.
But we were friends in the summer and opponents during the winter. So.
Now, what would you say was her biggest strength whenever she was playing? Was it scoring, passing, defense?
Kim Mulkey?
Yeah.
Just a leadership on the court and distributing the ball.
Okay.
She wasn't a real big shooter. And, of course, at that time, we didn't have three-point shots.
Right. I feel like when it comes
but-
to players like that are more like, you look like at Jason Kidd and the kind of point guard he was. Yeah, he could score, but he's more of like a distributor and kind of a floor general. I feel like those are the kind of point guards that, migrate into being good coaches.
Oh, 100%. The floor general build is definitely
Yeah.
a coaching trait. For
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Cindy?
Yes, I do agree with that because I know other generals that are now coaching both in the men and women's games, and they're good coaches.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you this. you're watching, the women's tournament. You played in it yourself. Is there anything while you're watching this, like any memories that are coming back to you? Like, you're watching the game, you're like, oh my gosh, here's a memory that I just haven't thought of forever.
I can. It doesn't really take the national championships. It could be just something that enters my mind. I can remember plays or passes that I did 45 years ago, like it was yesterday.
Oh wow!
And it's really, it's amazing.
It kind of brings
but
it back
I do want to touch on this.
Okay.
When I played at Tennessee, we were not in the NCAA. We were in the AIAW.
Oh, okay.
Title IX came in '72, and the women's athletics, not just basketball, was coming about. And in 1982, the women basketball joined the NCAA. And at that time, the women didn't have a big following, unlike today.
Right.
So the NCAA said, all right, the top 16 teams at the end of the regular seasons, or the top 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds will get a host the first round.
Okay.
I just can't believe that we're in 2024, 43 years after the women joined the NCAA, and they're still doing that. It's not fair to the women. It's only fair to those top 16 teams that get
I'm
a great
100.
chance.
I'm 100% on board with you, Cindy. I feel like who had it right was at the beginning. Whenever the men's tournament had it, and they would go to another school and they left that floor the same. That's what it should be. But like you're saying, if you're playing in the tournament, I mean, Iowa, they just played Holy Cross, and then I think West Virginia at the same time. It's like, that's not a neutral site. They're pretty much getting 2 more home games, and I feel like it's what takes away from the Cinderella. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like on the women's side, you just don't see as many Cinderella teams, and I feel like the reasoning is the whole first round's a home game for the higher seeds, like you just said.
Spot on. I'm so glad you just brought that up.
That's exactly right. I mean, you got in the men's game, you got Yale. That was a great
crazy
win for them.
That was crazy.
And Oakland out of Michigan, but you don't see those in the women's game.
And I feel like, because if you look at the Final Four, like for the women's, when it goes to that neutral site, I feel like the team that's not supposed to win actually does end up winning more times than not, because it's a neutral site, because you kind of have that, like, Notre Dame, the year I graduated, I mean, they were playing, I want to say it was Mississippi State, and that was whenever Mississippi State and UConn were like the powerhouses, and Notre Dame won their Final Four game and the national championship against Stanford on a buzzer beater. And I don't even think they were supposed to be at the Final Four, because that was one of those in-between years for them. And I would like to say that it comes from they're at a neutral site. So whenever
it's gotta help. You don't want to give Gino a home game every tournament.
Because if UConn's women goes on an 8-0 run, it feels like a 16-0 run, because the whole crowd's behind them. To where if they go an 8-0 run in a neutral site, you only have half the stadium on this side, and the other half telling your team, hey, we're still in this. We still got it,
And if it's around, you go. I mean, if that's in a local area, you go to check out games like going to Madison Square Garden for the men's tournament.
Yeah, and I think to further that point and your point, Cindy, is that if they did the host cities, it does help grow the game. It doesn't take a Caitlin Clark to come along and get people to come. If you go to these host cities, like you said, you want to go and watch, and that helps expand the fan base.
Oh, and you go just like Tennessee. The girls, they just played at NC State. Excuse me. And NC State's stadium was packed full of their fans.
And as a Tennessee fan, how are you supposed to get in?
Yep.
So I'm fully on board. I think me and Adam actually just talked about this.
We were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm fully on board with you, Cindy. I think they need to be in the middle. They need to have host cities, but they need to keep the floor the same. What do you think about the men's side, where like it's just a completely like made up floor and stuff like that. Some people like
I'm
it.
torn.
Yeah, because like the
torn.
March Madness logo looks cool and the colors might look cool, but I miss the like old school where you went to that school and you got to play on that floor because you had some unique floor courts. You know, like some people would have like the different colored,
Like the old Boston
checkered
Celtics
squares.
courts, one that comes to mind with the zigzags.
Yeah, or like I remember Valpo used to host in their
Oh,
court.
dude, pine or cherry, the way they stain it could
Yeah.
completely change the entire thing. Come on.
So what are your thoughts on that, Cindy?
Well, I want to say this about the women's situation. Those top, let's just say 24 teams, because you got your top 16 that get to host,
Right.
and the from 17 to 24 think, well, I don't want to change the system because we might be in the 16 next year.
Yeah.
But the top 24 teams in the nation, those coaches carry weight with the NCAA.
Yeah.
They don't want it to change.
Right. Right.
But
It's the common thing of do what's good for the game, not what's good for you. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that's what's good for the game, but
yeah.
you know, if you're like you said, if you're South Carolina, if you're UConn. Now, here's the situation because Iowa before Caitlin Clark, I mean, I don't think they ever made it to the Final Four. If they did, maybe once. Now they have her. They're in the Final Four. Who knows if they go again after her? If you're their coach, you're probably one lobbying for that to stop. Like, you have it now, but you maybe be looking at the future. Like, I'm probably not going to have this again, if not for a long time. So you're thinking, you know, the Iowa coach could possibly be in that role where she can help change the minds and get that going? Or do you think that it's a hard battle to beat right now?
Well, my guess is she's just going to want to keep it the way it is, because if she drops from number 1 in the country to number 20, she might get the axe the way it is.
That's the truth.
I want to ask your thoughts actually, and I'm as soon as I ask this, I'm going to sound like a hater, but this is my true opinion. Watching Iowa this year, I truly didn't feel like their team as a whole was that great. I felt like it was Caitlin Clark was so good that if it got close against a bad team, she could win the game. And if it got close against a good team like Ohio State, you know, where they were the better all-around team, they would win that game. Now, you know, the Big Ten Conference tournament did maybe change my mind a little bit because her teammates kind of stepped up there. But what's your thoughts on Iowa? Do you think that as a team they're a Final Four team, or do you think they just have a Final Four player?
I think they're a Final Four team.
Okay.
I don't think they are the athletes 5 deep like some other teams.
Yeah.
But, you know, from what I've heard and read, they are very close-knit, and that can take you a long way.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I have one question.
But
and it's more of when I watched this. There was a female ball player in this area named Amaris Betts. I watched her cross. She played at Unionville High School this year. Her crossover was better than mine ever was. That's the only thing I worked on. I'm watching some of these female athletes, and I'm like, man, like, I know there'll always be differences, but I am so impressed with how good female athletics is getting. Do you think that's helping with getting some of this parity? Like, when I was growing up, UConn was literally on multiple year win streaks and things like that, but I just think the whole game is better. Do you feel like the same thing?
I think it is. We're making leaps and bounds to where the men are, because you flip
This
a coin, you
girl,
don't know
I'm
who's gonna
telling
win.
you, phenomenal ball handler. I was every time I watched her,
strapped.
I was like, she is handling this ball better than anyone in the SVC on the boys' side.
Anybody
Hands
in the
down.
SEC, period. Yeah, like
Like, it was unreal to me. It really was, and it humbled me, honestly, because I'm sitting there just like, damn, she would have schooled me if this was one-on-one and we played to 5.
Yeah.
She's got a teammate, Smith. She's going to be college bound also.
Oh yeah. I think she was getting looked at in like 6th grade.
You know when it looks effortless for kids? It's effortless for her. She had a bad game that we watched. I really do feel like she was upset with the way she played in the first half. Still had 23, 7, and 7, you know?
And here's something I've noticed about Smith, and I want your take on, you know, players like this and stuff, is that where you said, like, she had a bad game, but to us, that's not. I think she had like 20 points, 10 rebounds, but to her, it was a bad overall game. But what I've always noticed about her is, she can hit a buzzer beater to beat Sheridan to go to the Sweet 16. She can have a terrible game. She can be hitting everything. She can be missing everything. But her demeanor, her face, I mean, she's just stone cold no matter what. And I feel like that's why she's so good, is because she lives in the moment, but she doesn't give in to the moment. If that makes sense.
Well said.
Is that something I just knowing you? Obviously, I never got to watch you play. I felt like that's kind of how you were. But do you feel like that's maybe how you were? And players like that, do you think they have that kind of advantage where they don't just give in to the moment?
I think, and I was that kind of player.
I knew
my
it.
Mother always,
I knew it.
Yeah, my mom always said, "You show no emotion," and I didn't. I wasn't down on myself if I missed 2 free throws or whatever, and if I hit 5 straight shots in a row, I didn't escalate.
Right.
But I think those kind of players are coaches' dreams.
Yes.
Of course, you want the Caitlin Clarks that just get all excited, but you got to have some of those even-keeled players that you just described.
And I feel like there's some coaches that don't understand that, because, like, I've seen some coaches have that type of player, and they'll be yelling. I'm like, hey, do you care about this game? Do you want to win? It's like, no, they do, but to them, and I've talked to a couple of them. What they tell me is they're like they think once they start showing emotion, they've given the other team the slightest advantage,
and
because they know like what kind of gets them going. To where if they stay even killed the entire time, it almost freaks the other team out.
Somebody that I know that does that I can think of that does it a lot. Aaron Kraft.
Yeah.
And then Kawhi Leonard, he's kind of the same way.
Larry
Kawhi
Fitzgerald.
Leonard,
Larry Fitzgerald is football, but it's like the cornerbacks would be like, "Stop saying thank you and good play." It's like weirding me out. I'm supposed to be defending you.
The player that I played with, I was like, that was Anthony McFadden. And then what I remember is we were playing my sophomore year, Vinton County. They're undefeated, how I told you about all that. And David Shoemaker calls him over because he wants to talk to him. Like, he was a freshman, so he kind of wanted to go over the situation. It was late in the game and stuff like that. And he called him over there, and he said Anthony kind of looked at him, was like, Mike gave him like that, like stone cold look. He goes, never mind. And he just sent him back out there because he kind of understood. He's like, you're a freshman, but the moment's never too big or too small. You just kind of live in it. So I definitely want to get your take on that.
Have you seen the Tennessee men play?
Yeah, they're looking like a hard team to beat. I got them in pretty much all my Final Fours.
Well, they've got a player that transferred in.
Yeah.
He played JUCO, I forget where, and then went to North Colorado State, and then transferred to Tennessee this year, Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
And he's like that. He's not above the clouds when he scores 4 straight threes.
Right.
And if he misses 4 straight threes, it doesn't bring him down. The only energy I ever see him, if he hits a 3, he might run down the court just doing this.
Yeah.
I loved Jaden Springer was a similar player for Tennessee a couple years ago. I really, really enjoyed him playing. Same thing. Not really an emotional guy, but played great basketball.
It really comes in handy, especially in March, because the fans just get that much more mad that you're not reacting to them.
It's like, why are you not being mad that I'm mad? Like,
they were calling the guy from Oakland the State Farm Insurance guy, and they were doing like a State Farm.
Have you seen the thing where it's like him in a Honda commercial? He goes, in 2024, I made UK go out of the tournament, but I'm ready for you to go out with a 2030 Honda Accord. It was awesome.
Remember when we went on that legendary run and sent Kentucky out? Well, I'm trying to send you out.
That's what it was. Cindy, before I get you out of here, I got to get your picks. Who do you think wins the men's tournament, and who do you think wins the women's?
I hope to see UConn and Tennessee in the men's final game.
That would be awesome.
I like it.
Yeah. And I don't know about the women, to be honest with you. I think it's probably a toss-up, but there are some strong teams. I can't imagine that Kim Mulkey won't get her team back to at least the Final Four.
I feel like everybody's pointing to South Carolina, which makes me think it's not going to be South Carolina. So that's just March, baby.
They're
They
a
had some
team
close
that, like,
games this year, but they won them.
Yeah, they
Don
did.
Staley does a great job with their teams.
I love her.
Well,
Or I should
ladies,
say I love what I see of her through social
ladies and
media.
gentlemen, not only the SEC tournament champion, but the inaugural SEC tournament champion, multiple state titles in basketball and volleyball, and two-time Olympic gold medalist, the amazing Cindy Houserman. Cindy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All
See
right.
you guys.
See ya.
Next time we're talking about the VHSs from volleyball. I forgot to bring that up. I really wanted. I loved it. They were like,
Dude,
"How did you learn volleyball?" My coach got us VHS tapes of the Chinese national team,
Yeah.
and that's how we learned. And then as soon as you mentioned the two with volleyball, I was like,
Real quick, Derek, it sounds like the ocean's in my ear. Is that normal?
Yeah,
It happened mid-Cindy, but I
also,
didn't
when
want to
you
say
said
anything.
who's going to win this tournament, she said, I don't know with the women's. I just wanted so bad. I don't give a piss about nothing but Tennessee.
Just go on. Now they're out. I don't care. But yeah, man, I like what she said when it came to like pretty much everything. But whenever she brought up the like, why the home court?
I smiled as soon as she started talking about it. I was like, I know she's about to be against this.
Yeah, because like again,
There's not enough parity in women's basketball for the long enough time as it is, and all that is helping that.
yeah,
And right now, we're starting to see better teams in a lot more directions. It's like, dude, send it to the neutral side.
dude, and I think why girls basketball in college is starting to explode like it is because not only Caitlin, like I feel like if Caitlin Clark went to UConn or like South Carolina, it would not be as big. But where she went to Iowa, who is fucking nothing.
Well, that's also the thing with LSU girls, where they won the national title and then they did it against Iowa. That was kind of last year, so that got everybody looking at it. So now everybody's looking at it again. What I'm real excited for is the next Caitlin to see who's going to kind of carry the torch in the college girls.
Because like I feel like you see that in college in men's, like who was the big guy from Iowa? Garza, was that his name?
Oh, yeah,
And
Lucas
then after
Garza.
him was Edie. And after Edie, it'll probably be this Tennessee guy.
I know Purdue's got like two guys right now, and they just got a guy that's like 7'2" signed to him as a freshman next year, and they got somebody waiting behind Edie.
All we know is that they ain't going to the Final Four. They're going to choke. Sweet 16.
I'm surprised they're still in
Hey,
it.
congratulations, Purdue.
Yeah, they're
you
still
finally
in it.
made it past the first
Dude,
weekend.
I'm telling you, I put in 2 work brackets. One of them I put Purdue because law of averages. Just like UVA, just like all of these teams, eventually you lose enough times and you squeak one in. And I'm like, I think this might be a squeak year.
Yeah. They done squeaked as much as they're gonna squeak.
Yeah.
Because they're about to be done. Boiler down.
Bro, they've
Purdue
been
more
squeaking
like
for
Purdue.
28 years. Like it's my dad, like being an Indiana guy. I always remember him being. I was like, whenever we were kids, I'm like Purdue, Dad. He goes, Purdue.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you know what rhymes with Boilermaker, right?
what?
Trash. That's a joke from my friend Dan Barnes.
I was not ready.
We were
for
heckling
that.
some Purdue fans, and that was like the best one because it made no sense.
All right, so let's talk about the NCAA tournament a little bit before we have our next guest on, which is an absolute dog. But actually, before our tournament, the NCAA tournament, let's talk about our tournament. Boys, it's fundraising season time again. Woo!
I don't know if that was.
3-on-3 tournament is coming up to a school near you, and that school is Paint Valley. We are doing a fundraiser for the Indian Lake Relief Tornado Fund. It's going to be a 3-on-3 tournament. It's April 13th from 2 to 8 at Paint Valley High School. 4 players max per team, but you can have 2 coaches.
And as many cheerleaders as you want.
Yeah, if you want cheerleaders, bring them all.
I've loved the team name so far. I like the deep cuts. You got Peach. I was about to say Peach.
You must say
Jam.
Peach Jam.
I still respect the
If
Peach
your guys'
Jam,
favorite
baby.
name ain't Skid Marks, don't talk
Come
to
on.
me.
Yeah, Skid Marks is up there already. Favorite team. We got some new ones in today. We got the McLean Kitties, I think, or Little Kitties or
Hey,
something
McLean gang, like Chain Gang, would have been kind of funny.
like that. Right. Hey, what I like about McLean, they're the first team that has a co-ed team. So they got half
Nice.
girls, half boys.
I saw that there was a Westfall team, I believe. It was the one that I believe Gaul and Leighton were
Yeah,
both on.
they're
They
called-
had some coaches that were girls, I believe.
They're called the Bops.
the Bobs.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I like that.
Aubrey Clark's the coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that,
Aubrey
yeah.
Clark is one of the coaches, and they got Bryden Gall there, and Brian. Oh man,
I
forgot
saw that
Brian's
last time. I wasn't
name.
going to try to take a chance.
Yeah, Brody Clark said that he was busy that weekend, so everybody's ankles are safe. at least from him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like to see is that we got a couple of Dina teams and a couple of Paint Valley teams. So it's not just going to be school versus school. It's going to be some in-house rivalries. So again, it's $20 per team. You can pay through our Venmo at Ride the Wave 2023. It's going to be a good time.
We got 10 spots left, you said that?
Yeah, we got 10 spots. We have 10 teams. We're only taking 20 teams for the first year because we've learned that events should not be just winged.
Hey, this is going to be our best event.
We're getting
really
better. Hey, this is
planning
the most prepared we will ever be for an
He's got
event.
a list, baby.
Yeah.
He's got it written down.
Do you know what I love most about fundraising? You can't lose. Every dollar raised is great.
Yeah,
Hey, I didn't realize it was so much fun. I guess that's why I call it
Dude,
fundraising.
We put the
yeah.
fun. Have you guys ever watched The Office? Whenever she's like, it's whenever she cancels the Dundies, and he goes, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you had a $6,000 fundraiser that lost money." He goes, "No, fundraiser. It was we were raising fun, not funds." But I feel like that's what we do. We have fun in fundraisers.
I'm about to take the D out in everything we do from now on. We're just running.
I don't know what a drazer is, but it's fun.
But yeah, so again, $20 per team, and the buy-in is only $5. If you don't pay $5, cool. Bring a case of water, some canned food, some clothes. Now, it's kind of a weird season because it's like still cold, but it's getting to warm, so.
Ohio spring is what I call it.
You got to think what packs of white or black T-shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, anything like that.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. If you want to donate T-shirts, hoodies, because at night it's cold. They're going to need some coats. I don't know the situation, but what I've learned is that there are actually a lot of people around this area that know people in Indian Lake. I mean, I woke up, hadn't even heard that it happened. I just had 6 texts from people, 6 different people saying, "Hey, what's Ride the Wave doing for Indian Lake tornado?" I said, "Something," once I figure out what it is. And then I looked it up, man, and honestly, it just brought back exactly what Clarksville looked like, Tennessee. I mean, tornado doesn't care where you live, who you are, or what you are. It's just going to destroy shit.
And take your dog.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, man.
Dude, I heard there was a lady that got launched 50 feet in the air and survived.
Dude,
so sad.
Some of the stories I've heard is like a dad like running in. So he I don't know exactly if he just pulled in or he was like out in his truck or something, but he got from his truck inside and just got over like his 2 kids and wife. As he got in, truck goes, the roof of the house goes, basically he was covering them and what sounds like pretty much saved their life, because his back got all cut and messed up, he was getting hit with stuff, and to where they were just sitting there, wherever he was getting hit with was coming to hit them.
Please find this man so we can get him on the show.
So
God, what a savage!
The Foo Fighters were there live playing "There Goes My Hero."
For real,
dude, dead
they
ass.
were. Shu called me and told me he knows the manager. He said, "We're here right now. We got here right before the tornado hit. We're playing it right now."
Dude, and he deserved every fucking syllable.
Dude, it's insane, man. And when shit like that happens, when shit truly hits the fan like that, you know who's a real mofo.
That's
or
what
not.
I mean.
You know what I mean? You find out, you could do all the shit.
Even if you're not a real mofo, usually when your family's in danger, especially if you're a mom or a dad, then you are that real
turn
mofo.
into
but sometimes you're just flailing, running in, going crazy. This man was ripping the driveway. I know exactly what I'm doing. If we're doing this, I'm going to be
here's
on
the
top.
crazy thing: if he just pulled in, right? So he was inside prior before, and then just pulled in. I don't know if that's the case or not. To know exactly where your family would be in that moment, dog. You know what I mean? It's not like he walked from what I saw. It's not like he walked in "Hey, where you at?" It was just boom, wham, everything gone. And it was insane. So if you could come out and donate, again, $5 to get in. We try to make it cheap. we try to make it cheap so we can get more people to come out. But really, we aren't really looking for this $5 admission.
For stuff like non-perishables, screws, nails, building supplies.
Yeah, we really want more.
The building supplies. I like that too.
Yeah, we want more of that kind of stuff as your admission. And then we kind of realize, not everybody can just have that on hand. So that's where the $5 comes in. So then we can buy it. So please come out. Again, that's April 13th. And, man, these teams are good. Hold on. Let me get
I was just looking.
I was gonna say, let me just get on our Instagram because I'm not gonna remember. So here's the teams we have so far. We have the McLean Kitty Cats with Lily Barnes, Luca Matestic, Andrew Potts, and Seth Weller. Here's the crazy thing, coached by Colton Yoakum, Paint Valley guy. So can see a rivalry there that we might accidentally put in the same pool.
Any team that enters, I always immediately go to somebody I work with and be like, so tell me about all of these kids.
Yeah.
I heard
The Bops that we were just talking about, they got Bryden Gall and
Whoever's
Brian.
making those logos, though, put his heart and soul into it.
Yeah,
I
mean,
love
those
it.
are
It's so much
sexy
character.
logos. It is.
It really is.
But the Bops that Brian Craig, that's who we're trying to think of. Bryden Gall, Jerry Layden, and Austin Fatcheries. I think
That's the last name that I wasn't really for sure on.
That, to me, right now, has to be early tournament favorite.
By the way,
I
Clay's
like
making
it,
these
but
logos.
I like that
Clay's making these logos. He's making them really nice. I was being genuine.
Then
like
we got
to get his
trifecta. There's Zane Trace base with Grady Stewart, Lucas Euler, Dylan Hoover,
That one right
and
there,
Sebastian Ray.
That's
We
my
got
favorite
the
logo.
best name
That's
in the tournament.
That's my favorite logo.
The
too.
skid marks.
With the skid mark, tire
Yeah.
mark, love it,
Dude.
love it.
They texted me like, "Can we change your name?" I said, "I mean, you're allowed to, but I don't want you
I would
to."
advise against
Yeah,
it.
you guys are probably gonna win best name, honestly.
Yeah.
So keep.
I'm vetoing it.
yeah,
You're not allowed to
actually,
change it.
skid marks. We
can't
just
change
came
it.
up with this.
You gotta
You
keep
are
it.
not allowed to change
That's
your
the
name.
best name there is.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
Sorry, you already won the award unless somebody else comes in. But that is Maddox Baxter, Ryan Peters, and Jensen Estep. Then you got the Big Willies with Jace Reinhardt, Gavin Kingery, Willie Wheaton, and River Metler.
Okay, that one's pretty good too.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you, underdog team right there. I think we're going to be overlooking them.
I
Then we
wonder,
got.
did
I think the
Willie Wheaton
next
come up with
one
the
is
name of this team?
my.
I think Jace Reinhardt did. And they just told Willie, hey, it's happening.
You're on the team.
Yeah.
He reluctantly joined.
It's like, why are you on the team, Willie? We need your name.
Yeah.
And then we got Jelly Fam. Easton
That's,
Hennis,
I'm
Curtis
telling
Wood,
you, I
Bryson
think that's
Smith, Jody
that's a
Ader.
squad right there.
Yeah, and then we got Kresh and JV. We got Dylan Lynch, Ethan Ellick, Darius Wagner, Blake Cottle. And then, guys,
I don't know if that's any relation.
it is. I would say it's not.
Yeah.
But then we got
Is he good? Because then I'll.
we got Big Cat's kids. Dylan Swingle decided to sponsor a team. That's Bryson Dunham,
I thought you
Peyton
were about to
Bell,
say he
Logan
was in
Log,
it.
and Rob Krivak.
I thought you were about to say he had a team. I was saying that's not fair. What do we do?
Only high school kids.
Yeah.
And then we got the Huntsman, Carson Henneberger, Lee Rucker, Noah Potter, and Jacob Cooper. And then, guys, we actually have a not just non-SVC, just non-Southern Ohio. We have a team all the way from Grove City coming in, the Schmigos, with Caden Sparks, Peyton DeVoe, Anthony Wheatley, and Miles Hutchinson.
I can't read.
We know.
Oh, I'm getting yelled at through paper.
So, again, if you haven't signed up, only max 20 teams. We're sitting at 10. So, get those picks in. Again, April 13th at Paint Valley. Only $5 to get in. We'll have a concession stand. We'll actually have a player skills competition.
Waverly, I heard Piketon's putting in a team.
I heard.
Just saying.
I heard they are. We'll have a skills competition. We'll have a three-point contest. Now, the three-point contest, you have to be on a team to be in that. It's only going to be between the players in the tournament. So you got to be on a team to be in that. But the skills competition, we might pick a fan. That's going to be an in-betweener. And then we have the layup, free throw, three-point, and half-court shot for $100.
Quick question. Now, with the skills challenge, are we doing players and then just picking one fan to do it with the players to kind of show these?
Remember
these
how
fans?
we said we were like super organized for this? That's like the one thing I don't know yet.
I like it, the aspect of it, like
Let's
how
do it right here. What we did? What we did? We do.
I like the
Let's
aspect
do a
of-
fan versus a player.
I've always liked the aspect of putting a normal guy out there with the Olympians.
Yeah.
So that way all these couch coaches can't be like, well, I could do that. It's like, no, because they just showed you doing it first and he didn't do it.
So this is what we'll do. We'll pick. We'll ask players.
One of
day
us has to do it too.
We'll ask play. No, here's what. All right.
I thought he was just about to be
The
like,
second you
no.
said 3-point competition, you got to beat my score, baby.
Light bulb.
7.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen for the skills competition. We just came up with it right now. This is why this show's awesome and terrible. So we're going to have
love it.
3 teams. We're going to have one team of 2 players from one of the teams that want to be in it. We're going to have another team of 2 people from the stands. and we're going to have another team of 2 of us. And that's going to be the skills competition.
Send it.
So, if you win the skills competition, there will be a prize that we will announce next week on the show. If you win the 3-point competition and you win if you win the 3-point competition, you'll get a trophy or like a chain. We're kind of going in between on that. And if you get the layup, the free throw, the 3-point, and the half-court shot, we're going to do that multiple times throughout the day. If you hit that, you get $100. So, and that's fan only. That's not player. That's fan only. So you got to be there. But yeah, make sure you come out. Like we said, we're going back and forth between trophies and chains for the winners. So tune in next week to figure out what you're going to win. Just because I can't make up my mind, I feel like they're both going to be dope. But yeah, so make sure you're coming out for that. It's going to be a good time, and honestly, it's going to do something that I wish we've done in this community forever. Yes, Gus Smacker's awesome, and 3-on-3 tournaments for adults are awesome. That's great. There are people that are out of shape and have not played basketball in years. I like that we're taking kids right after their season, right when they're still fresh for basketball. 3-on-3, who's the best? Who is the best 3-on-3 team in the area, high school wise? We get an answer for that now.
Got a bunch of grown men out there on random courts just yelling at each other, trying to fight.
And then you have a 36-year-old ex-college player locking down like a freshman, and he's like, "I'm a beast." It's like
the reason why I was so stern on co-ed as well is because magic happens.
I'm telling you,
I love 3-on-3 tournaments. I loved when they were co-ed because you're getting.
I don't know what's more dangerous. So I like the McLean team with the girls playing because from what I've seen, the girls on that team shooters. So they got the strap. But when you look at the Westfall team, you got 2 girl coaches. They're going to see the X's and O's, and they're not going to be afraid to get on those players.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
how will it work? It'll be like group play. So whenever you show up, we'll show you what group that you're in, what court you'll play at. You'll play each one of those teams one time for the group play, and then there will be a tournament after. Hey, hi Savannah.
Yeah, that's who I was getting yelled at by. I took her parking spot.
But yes, and then
I didn't want to.
Then we'll have our tournament for 2 hours. Then after that, we'll have our group play for 2 hours. Then we'll go into our tournament, and then we'll decide who's going to be our tournament champion, guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, somebody that is not immune to championships, not immune to greatness, not immune to being an absolute dog. I'm talking about a 3-time state champion. Somebody that would kick my ass, Tony's ass, Adam's ass, everyone's ass. This absolute Jackson legend, Makennah Kraft! Makennah, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So, I got to come into it. Congratulations on winning that 3rd state championship. Absolute dog. How was this year different from prior years, and what were some of your favorite times and memories of this past weekend for you?
This year was a lot different. Well, my freshman year, we weren't at the Schottenstein Center with the boys. So that year was kind of like the smallest we ever had, and the atmosphere was not the same at all. And then last year, it was the first time the girls were with the boys. So a lot of people were really, really excited when I won because I was actually the first match of the whole state tournament for the girls.
Oh, let's go.
Hell yeah.
So that everywhere just erupted because it was the first ever girls state finals match.
Let's
and
go!
Let's
go.
We just had Cindy Houseman on. We got trailblazers here, bud.
And then so this year it was a little smaller, but it was a lot like last year.
Now, I saw that you had a huge support group up there for you. Can you name off, was it mom and dad? Was it friends? Who was all there? I saw a couple guys have a I Heart Makennah Kraft shirt on, so you had a whole fan. She was even giving autographs. Saw her signing T-shirts. I mean, you had a whole fan base up there.
A lot of my fan base was just my Jackson people. So we had a lot of we had parents of other wrestlers that didn't even make the state tournament. They all came.
That's awesome.
And then I had friends come. So it was a lot of the community. And then with the I Heart Makennah Kraft shirts, I really didn't even know those kids.
That's even better.
That's even, I was going to say, that's so much better. It's like, who are you again?
they randomly asked me if they could do it, and I was like, go for it. And then they showed up with it, and I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Send it.
Hey, so did you sign those shirts too, or did you just sign the one little girls?
They wanted me to sign their shirt, but we couldn't find a Sharpie, so just the little girls.
Oh, we got to get it back. Listen,
Oh, yeah.
We got to get the shirts. We got to get them signed. They're going to be worth millions one day.
Come on.
Now, Makennah, I got to ask you, I've known a lot of girls that have wanted to go into wrestling. I've never known a lot of girls that went in and just completely dominated the sport.
Have you lost, like, around here when you don't go play for, like, the Ohio or go wrestle
for the Nationals? Yeah. What's your high school career at Jackson? What's your record? Do you know?
I really don't know. Honestly.
I was looking it up, and I didn't see any L's. That's the
I've
only
never
thing.
heard of you losing. Have you lost?
I've lost to boys. I lost to one boy this year, and it was in, like, West Virginia's, like, it's bigger than their state tournament.
So you had to go to a whole nother state to finally the best wrestler in Ohio, Makennah Craft, right here.
So I did wrestle in high school, but I wasn't good. So as I'm looking over and perusing your record and seeing these wins, I'm seeing F2, F5. Like, can you? I know they're falls, but can you explain a little bit more to me about it? Because I never tech falled anybody. So
tech falls are just like, so you have to win by 15. So like if I'm beating, it's like a mercy rule. So if it's like 15-0, then the match is over.
I'm sure you have a lot of those.
that's what I'm getting at. I'm looking all over the schedule, and I'm like, what even is this? I'm Googling, what is it? And I wrestled because I literally never had a chance of being
If it was
that
me,
good.
I'd walk on the mat, and I'd just be like, done. Like, let's not waste everybody's time. But what I want to ask you, Makennah, is what made you, like, when did you realize wrestling was it, and how did you kind of pick wrestling? Or did wrestling pick you?
Well, so I come from a really big family, and I have 2 older brothers that wrestled. And so when I was really young, I had to go sit through all their practices and all their tournaments. So then I was like, Mom, I really want to do this too. And my mom was totally against it. She wanted me to be a little girly girl. And so my mom said if I got my ears pierced, I could wrestle. And then so I ended up wrestling when I was 4 years old. And when I got to like 6 and 7 is when I really realized, like, dang, I could be good at this. And so I started like traveling a lot and wrestling boys all over the country. And so that's when I really knew like wrestling was my sport.
Now, are you just like when you went to the state championship? Because it looked like you're wrestling boys and winning against boys there. Is it only against girls, or is it against girls and boys? How does that work?
So I can wrestle girls and boys during like preseason stuff and like during the regular season. But at state, I have to pick one or the other. I can't do both.
Did you pick boys this year?
No, I wrestled girls.
Okay, so because this was your junior year, right?
Yeah.
Going into your senior year, have you flirted with? I'll say it. I think if you go to that boys tournament, you're walking away with hardware. So have you thought about going into the boys, or how's that thought process work for you?
Well, so my freshman year, I was allowed to do both, and I made it to the district tournament for the boys. And so, like, I, like, placed at sectionals and everything. And it would be really cool to be a girl that, like, does that. Because I think I could, like, at least make it to state.
Not fake, girl. You would make it to state. There's no thought process there at all.
But I'm honestly really little. And for boys, it's 106. And some of these boys are cutting from, like, 120.
Dude, 100%.
And I walk around.
Okay, is your weight
and
class
I walk
100?
around at, like, 102.
Yeah.
So
I got to ask you, though, like, in the season, like you said, you're going to wrestling against boys or girls. Has there ever been a time where there's a boy over there just talking mad crap and then you go out there and just whoop his ass?
I think that happens a lot, honestly.
Yes!
We're going to underestimate.
Put them in their place. They suck. Sorry. Keep going.
They're the worst.
They are.
Or a lot of the times, if, like, they really don't know who I am, which doesn't happen too often anymore. Like,
Is there?
A lot of them will be, like, laughing at me or just, like, looking at me like, who does she think she is? But
she thinks she's the best wrestler in the damn state because she is. That's what it is.
So I see the Ohio State wrestling, and I also watched an interview where I think it was a former female Ohio State wrestler. Is there anybody you're still pulling from up there? I saw Jessie Mendez just had one of the sweetest reversals I've ever seen up there for Ohio State against Penn State. Any ties to Ohio State or anything like that?
No, not necessarily. I just like Ohio State, and this is a Rudis jacket, and I really love Rudis, the brand.
Oh,
So
nice. Have you
Oh,
thought
I just,
about wrestling after high school? Are you going to try and go to college or anything?
yeah, I fully plan to go wrestle in college. I don't have I haven't decided on a school yet. I have options, and I plan to go visit a bunch of them and figure out which school just fits me the best.
take your time, have
Yeah.
fun,
Just
visit
enjoy being
every
the goat.
single one of them. Meticulous. Don't forget, you have to eat there as well. So make sure
Yeah,
you check out the
if you find
cafeteria.
it a good, if they don't have a Taco Bell, you better just walk on off the campus.
Come on, Taco
Okay?
Bell. She's an elite athlete.
And
Clay.
Taco Bell's
She's
elite
not like
fast food.
us.
She's
She's
eating
not like
Chick-fil-A
us.
minimum.
Okay, I'll
No,
get
but
behind the
when she
Chick-fil-A.
says walking around at 102 and 106, I went to a school with a very small population. So I was wrestling 145 when I walked around probably at 145, and I'm watching dudes cut from 160 to get there. So it's like, it really is weird when you have to be the one that's like okay with eating and like eating certain amounts of food. I was eating turkey sandwiches like nobody's business while wrestling. That's why I was also not good.
Have you ever
but-
done anything crazy to cut weight? I mean, I remember when I was in high school, I'd just see dudes walk in with like 7 trash bags on, and
then sweats underneath the
sweatpants,
trash
a
bags,
hoodie.
dude.
I'm like, what do you eat for lunch? They're like, my sweat.
I've honestly never had to cut much weight because I'm already at the lowest weight class.
Yeah.
And for
Have
state
you ever had
every
to
day
gain
I
weight?
went.
Yeah, she's 102 and wrestles
So you have to
106.
gain weight to get into your class then.
Yeah, for boys, so for girls I wrestle 100 pounds, but for boys
Okay.
I wrestle 106.
Okay.
So I can walk into any boys tournament and still be eating while all these boys are cutting weight.
Yeah.
That would make me so bad.
I'm
like,
fed.
so you're over here kicking my ass, and you can just do whatever you
I was
want.
about to say, sit on the sideline eating a turkey sandwich, be like, I'll see you in 15 minutes, buddy. You hungry?
The funniest thing is, I used to one of my wrestling friends. He used to just look up Subway sandwiches on the computer and would touch the screen. He'd be starving. He'd have to cut 30 pounds.
That's
'cause
me
he
at
was
11:30
heavyweight.
a.m. waiting for 12 p.m. lunch. Like,
That's me in the middle eating my dinner, thinking about my next dinner. Now, is there other sports that you play or played, and then you just decide wrestling's it? That's what I'm going to stick to.
Growing up, I always played softball and soccer. And I was never, softball was never really my thing. But I honestly loved soccer, and I played till my freshman year. But while I was playing I was on a travel team, and I tore something in my ankle and had to have surgery. And I was like, yep, I'm giving that up
She's
just
hanging
for
up the
wrestling.
cleats.
is that why you wear the right
And then
knee
this
pad? Not
year-
for the ankle, but do you? I know people that shoot a lot. I see that you wear the right knee pad. Is there anything with that, or is it just protected because you shoot so many times?
Just protection, really.
Gotcha.
But this year, I was actually a cheerleader.
Oh, really?
Yep, I cheered this year.
What was the opening cheer? You better like us or she'll kick your ass? That would be insane.
Did you have fun with it? Did you get as much? I don't want to say as much enjoyment out of wrestling because you're
Yeah.
so good at it. But did you enjoy your time cheerleading?
It was really fun. It was a lot different because I'm used to wrestling where I have cornrows in my hair and I go just wrestle people. With cheer, it was as a team we all got ready and it was a lot different and a lot different atmosphere and everything. But it was really fun.
Now, was it
I mean, that's two opposite ends of the universe.
Yeah,
Now,
'cause,
was it an actual
Yeah.
cheer team to where you guys were going out to competitions, or was it more cheer for
It was just we have a cheer team that goes to competitions, but I just did football sideline cheer.
That had to be, because like Tony said, that's one, you're literally mentally preparing to almost kill someone, and the other one, you're just go team.
You're mentally preparing to prepare other people to kill
go
someone.
do that. I love how you said too. First off, I want to tell your cheerleading coach, let the cornrows stay because they're freaking dope. I love them; they're amazing. Now like I said, that had to be kind of a different experience being a cheerleader. But getting back to wrestling,
I want to ask one question.
go ahead because I got mine in my head real quick.
Do you have almost like an arch nemesis? So in wrestling, a lot of the times we always had people that was Bob Scarabuza. I hate you still to this day.
Yeah, definitely don't think about him.
But
once
it's
a week.
he just worked me every time. But that being said, I know it's not the same for you, but is there still somebody that you kind of look at that is like, man, that was stiff competition, or I have to
you
see
look at
this
and you're like,
person
man, I
again?
love kicking your ass.
Yeah, either one's fine. Is there somebody you like it? But is there anybody that sticks out that's a challenge for you, I should say?
Actually, yeah. So my 8th grade year, I went to Super 32, and that's a summer tournament, and it was in South Carolina, I think, and I wrestled a girl in the finals, and I was in 8th grade, and she was a junior in high school, and she ended up beating me by 1 point, and that's like, so what summer wrestling is freestyle, but with like school wrestling, it's folk style, and I have not touched freestyle very much. Like I don't practice it as much as I do folk style, and so she beat me by 1 point in the Super 32 finals, and then my freshman year, we wrestled again at Fargo in North Dakota, and she beat me again by 1 point in the finals there. But now that was my freshman year, and she graduated right after that tournament. Like she was already graduated, so we haven't wrestled since. And she's at Iowa now, and she's doing big things at Iowa. So
I feel like
I have a lot of respect to her.
I feel like you just walk
No,
around.
it's the one you want back. Anybody?
I don't care where I go to college.
As long
But
as
I'm going to Iowa, and I'm setting this thing straight. I'm kicking her ass. Like, what I got from that story is you're like, anytime, any place, girl.
No,
I'm
it's gonna
ready.
be a Cindy Hauserman. She was just on before, but she played college basketball with a girl that was very, very good, and then played on the Olympic team. A lot of the times after college, when you still do a lot of freestyle wrestling, that's where you really run into him because she's gonna be older than you no matter what. She's already got years.
Yeah.
Unless she gets held back. We don't know how her curriculums were in the classroom. No, but I want to ask you, you know, speaking of Cindy, we just talked about Caitlin Clark and how she has completely changed the game for women's college basketball. And I'll say that I feel like you have 100% done that for at least women's wrestling around here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not know that there was like a whole division for just women until I watched you pretty much kick everybody's ass. And so what I want to ask you was, is there maybe not just a girl that you look up to in the sports, but just anybody that you look up to for like your motivation, like a wrestler or just a famous person that you look up to help you be as good as you are?
Honestly, growing up, I looked up a lot to Tony Ramos. He's a wrestler that went to Iowa.
Okay.
And before he wrestles, he like looks at his opponent and he walks back and forth and he stares him down. And I don't know, like whenever I wrestle, I do the same thing and I stare them down and I slap myself. It's really weird, but I've always done it.
It's not.
Yeah, because
so
you're
I
scaring the shit.
Well, it's not weird. You prep muscles that way. Hey, I do physical therapy. I'm telling you, there's something to slapping yourself. Okay, it desensitizes your muscles. When they come in to lock up with you, your body's already felt that before.
Yeah,
there's something to it.
You're staring down. I've seen the pictures, and I feel it through the pictures.
Dude,
so,
I was watching. There was like a picture of. I think it might have been the last match, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like,
she's literally like this, bro.
You don't need to talk too much crap. We like crap on the show.
Yeah.
But did you have a hard time? Like honestly speaking, when you got to that state final, for any second were you worried?
I wouldn't really say I was worried, but like I knew that like no matter what, like who it was, I was gonna wrestle my heart out, and that I was gonna leave everything I had on that match. And I kind of go into every match the exact same way. I prepare the same way, like I do everything the same. So and I honestly have a mindset that I'm never gonna lose. Like I don't care if I'm wrestling an Olympian, I'm gonna go out there thinking I'm never gonna lose. And so it's kind of always like I didn't have a different mindset really for that match. But I do get a lot more excited when I know a lot more people are watching, and saying it was the state finals, I was really excited.
Oh, yeah. And
I have a side question as well. Like, in terms of female MMA, there's a lot of good female wrestlers. You know I got to ask the question. Somebody's asked it before. But any thoughts on that? Taking up boxing, maybe going in that direction?
I really don't think so.
Love it.
She's like, I don't want to really kill people. I just want them to know I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one's so much for me.
Yeah. Now, I heard you mention Iowa a couple times. You said that girl went to Iowa. Are we going to Iowa just so we can kick this girl's ass in practice every day?
I don't think so.
Now, I got to ask you, what are some things not sports related, like outside of wrestling stuff that you do as a hobby? Because, you know, we all love our favorite thing to do, but sometimes you got to take a step away, do something else to get your mind off. Are we playing music, watching TV? What are we doing?
I don't know. I've always liked to be like, I like to be with my friends, and saying I have a really big family. I'm with family a lot and with friends. And then like at my papaw's house, we have horses and stuff.
You ride
so
horses?
just a lot of things like Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I love horses. I mean, let me rephrase that. I love horses. They scare me.
I was
but
about
love
to say,
horses.
man.
Yeah.
One
like,
swift kick and you're
yeah,
just
that's what I'm saying.
done.
Like I like them, too, but like as long as someone else is there to tell them don't hurt this person. Now one more question before we get your greatness out of here. Adam, did you have a question? I thought you said
not at all.
Okay. So next year, you've won your 4th straight state title. You've let everyone in Ohio know, hey, you suck. I'm the best. Where are you going for your celebratory dinner, or what would be your dream celebratory dinner for that?
Cheat meal too.
Yeah, you're not holding back on
really
that.
don't know. Like this year after state, I literally was like, I just want something very greasy and fattening. So I went to just some random burger place, and then I went and got ice cream. So
Did you get
I don't
sick at
really
all?
know. No, I didn't actually.
Good.
But I eat all week. Like every day I was eating 3 meals a day before the tournament because I really don't cut weight. So it's not like anything bad. But
Right.
I just eat very like healthy and very strategically. So it wasn't really.
That's awesome.
The fattening part was great.
I
said,
would have went and got a big old steak.
Take
and ate
the
it with my
trophy.
hands.
I need some grease.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Columbus. I'm going straight and get me a Terminator.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably going to Mongolian barbecue because I know
I'm
it's
going
not
to
gonna
Taylor's.
stop.
I'm going to Taylor's and getting the bushwhacker.
That's
Bud.
nice.
That's just my go-to.
We
So-
actually went to Mongolian barbecue after the semifinals.
Oh hell yes, that's my place.
I love it.
I go in there and as soon as they bring me the first bowl, I'm like, go ahead and bring that second.
I like asking them what they like because everybody that works there always has been able to pick apart that and like come up with some fire. They always give the best. Get the servers right.
When I first went there, my taste buds didn't do it justice. So like I went there with like a whole group of people, and like we went up there and like they would take their bowls up and they throw it on the grill, and it's just mountains and mountains. And mine was like just this little thing, some noodles and some barbecue sauce with some like that cut sausage. That's all mine was.
Yeah.
And people were like, you actually gonna eat anything? Like, no wonder you get 6 bowls. There's nothing in there. Like, well, Makennah, thank you so much for coming on. You got any big summer plans? Any big vacations or anything like that?
Well, hopefully I plan to keep wrestling all summer.
Hell
so
yeah.
I'll probably go to North Dakota for wrestling and then travel to a couple other places. So
All right. Well, we'll have to have you back on the summer so you can let us know how bad you're kicking their asses. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest wrestler that's ever stepped foot in Ohio, Makennah Craft. Thanks for coming on, Makennah.
thank you for having me.
Dude.
I gotta find a new way to phrase the question. Do you lose? Like literally, it's
She
like
literally said, well, I went to West Virginia one time a lot. I'm like, so you can't lose in state.
to a boy.
Yeah.
Like what? Like let's go,
Dude,
man.
and like, watch one thing I loved about that whole tournament. One, she has this dude, this dope ass picture where it's like the guy she beat for state in a headlock, and she's just and the caption is 3-peat.
Dude, that's what I was saying. It looked easy
Yeah.
in the pictures.
But
I'm-
one thing
you know
I
what, talk
love
too
about
much,
looking
man.
through those pictures, man, is like when I was in high school, we had Tegan, Caleb, and I think somebody else go. So we had 3 people go, right? And they had following up there, but it was like Tegan's parents, and then this person's parents, this person's parents. She had one, and she had like a whole fan section, like the.
You can't downplay the Jackson community. She was like, it
No.
was the Jackson community. I don't care. Your community came out to support, and that
We had
means something.
We had somebody that was supposed to go my freshman year, but some stuff happened and he didn't end up going.
Oh
But
yeah.
Yeah. He was.
Is that the kid? Oh no, never mind. I'm not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk
Well,
about.
it's not
this on
about
this
that
show,
guy,
dude.
but I know I can't remember that. But then I remember something about somebody I know, and I'm just not gonna do him like that. I'll tell you off air though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, viewers. I can't
Yeah,
do that. to my
can't
friend.
do these
Yeah.
stories on
But,
the show at all.
No, like what I love, man, is like she's great. She's athletically great. Like she probably would be kind of doing this kind of stuff without. But whenever you are great and then you have the support system that looks like she has, like how do you lose? Like you know what I mean? Like it's a lot easier to get because I feel like it's easier to get through the lows, even though she doesn't have a lot of them. But to get through those lows whenever you have a great support
Hey, when
system.
the highs are so high, the lows aren't really low, are they?
And I feel like when it sounds like you know, she's like, I have 2 older brothers and they wrestle and stuff like that. I feel like when she like might get too high on herself, they are there to be like,
Oh, they were probably kicking her ass.
yeah,
She's also
Yeah, dude.
she's educating you right now on somebody named Tony Ramos. Have you ever seen this dude?
I don't think so.
Dude, he has issues.
Yeah.
Look at this dude.
Oh my God.
When she's saying I'm like walking back and forth and stuff like that, this dude was not okay.
My favorite wrestling story, I was just listening to like sports radio. Oh, show the camera.
Oh,
I was just listening to sports radio. It was about the St. John's basketball team. It was somebody on that team was talking about it, and
that guy looks like he wants to hurt me through a phone.
But they said that they went out to like a bar, right? And there was just some guys they're like, we were all like big guys, we're all like 6'7", 6'8", because we were on the basketball team. We ran into a bunch of like short guys. Like the tallest guy was like 6'2", and I guess we were trying to start problems, so we started fighting them. I look over, I see one guy pull out a mouthpiece and bite it into it, and I was like, I'm good, I'm not fighting. Turns out they were the wrestling team. They whooped our ass. And I was like,
dude, have you ever seen that video of the guy? Like he looks like a nerd, and he's like in this like restroom. And, like, it's, like, these, like, 2 or 3, like, kind of buffer-looking dudes. And there's, like, slapping around, like, straight up just bullying this kid. And the kid, like, looks at his buddy, and the buddy's, like, goes like this. Whoops all 3 of their asses. Like, just starts, like, because I guess, like, he was, like, in UFC and mixed martial arts stuff. Like, so I don't know what the moves are, so you can tell me. But he did that thing where he pretty much jumped up in this foot. Hey, this person in the face, this person in the face. Came down and started. It was the Oklahoma football team. It was a few years ago. It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
I think I remember what you're talking
about.
Yeah,
but it went viral because everybody was like, everybody's like, wow, look at these Oklahoma football team players bully this kid. It's like, no, look at this kid beat these Oklahoma football team players' ass.
Like, oh, Oklahoma football can only beat girls up in subways, huh?
Exactly.
It's a Joe Mixon joke if you guys didn't get that.
But yeah, man, and that was just crazy to me because that was like the epitome of like, do not judge a book by its cover. Now, to keep our wrestling topic going, we have probably the next best wrestler in the state of Ohio. He's being known nationally ranked.
Shout out Andy. Walker Brown was that man's name. He was MMA trainer. Is captured in video on a 2-on-2 altercation with the Sooners.
Oh, that we were just talking about?
Yeah. One of the Sooners was Spencer Jones, wide receiver.
Yeah.
Shout out Andy for that.
Look up that video if we don't show it by the end because it was amazing.
Also look up Joe Mixon's video too.
You don't do that. But talking to somebody that honestly is going to be going big ways in wrestling and probably could go into UFC and kick some ass too. We'll figure it out there. But he just placed 3rd for the 2nd straight year in the state tournament from our Chillicothe, the one and on, Cannan Smith. Woo! How's it going, man?
Good. How about you?
Doing good. Hey, so listen, we were kind of talking about this the whole show before we got on the show. Is your first name pronounced Cannan or Cannon?
Cannon.
I knew I said it wrong.
Cannon, because he's got 2 of them.
Cannan Smith. There we go. All right. We got that intro there. Okay. So, Cannon, I want to ask you, first off, you're a local high schooler, and we just had her on. Have you, do you know Makennah Craft? Have you kind of watched her from afar, or are you just, like, laser focused on you and what you got to do to win?
I mean, I would consider me and her friends. We talk here and there at tournaments, but, yeah, I've known about her for a while.
Nice.
She's been youth level.
Heck yeah. Now, I want to get to you. I've literally heard about you. Caleb Price, I actually went to high school with him. We were in the same grade. I've literally heard about you wrestling, I think, since you were in 7th grade. I mean, he's been telling me, like, hey, man, we got a guy. We're coming. Well, you're here. You're a guy. You're there. So I want to ask you kind of the same thing I asked her. When did you know wrestling's my thing? Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm good at. And then you started pursuing that. When did that happen for you?
I would say 7th grade, but I started wrestling in kindergarten.
Okay.
But I didn't get the success that I had until 7th grade. I mean, never placed at the state tournament. Got 5th, 7th grade year. Exploded between 7th and 8th. Got 2nd at junior high state. And then I exploded again freshman year. And I mean, I'm just still getting better. I mean, that's all I got to say.
One thing I love before we go any further is I was looking at your Instagram today. I was looking at your pictures and your captions. And the caption I read was, I'll be back. And dude, gave me chills down my spine. Is that, between you and Makennah, one thing we've noticed is the confidence. Is for wrestling, is that like, obviously, you want to have confidence in basketball and football and baseball, but I feel like in wrestling, like you have to have confidence in yourself to succeed. Would you say that's kind of correct?
Absolutely. I mean, people that don't have that type of things in their head, they don't succeed in this sport at all. I see it all the time.
Yeah,
That was me. I'm going to be straight up. Like, I wrestled because I felt like it helped with other sports, had the opportunity to do it. I still had fun with it. But when I rolled over to Haverford High School in my area, I knew I was done. I knew I was getting teched, too.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was going to get beat by 15. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. I felt like if I look back and almost regret something, it'd be that I didn't roll in there and be like, hey, you got a chance to score a couple points against this guy. It was pretty much just like, just go ahead and do it. And it's not the mentality you can have in wrestling.
Dude, and like when you talk about pins, I saw like a couple videos where I'm pretty sure Cannan was throwing them through the ground. Like that was like his goal. What would you say your now? Bear with me because I was not a wrestler. I always admired you guys. I always wanted to try it. I was on the team for a week, and Coach Salomon told me I had to lose 20 pounds, and I went right back to basketball. So that's how I knew it was not made for everybody. So I want to ask you, do you have like a go-to move or like, without giving too much away, like a go-to technique that you're like, man, once I do this, over, I'm winning?
It's usually my high crotch or my double. I've gotten really good at it, and don't tell Caleb I said this, but he can't stop my double leg anymore.
Let's go! Yeah, Caleb! I'm not going to tell you, but you heard it here. Cannon's kicking your ass right now.
Paraphrased, and you paraphrased his words. He didn't say
I think
that
he
word
said
for
that.
word.
I'm saying it for him. Sorry, back to you, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's how that's how I got to the, that's how I won my third place match, that my high crotch. Then, I mean, my double leg is absolutely brutal.
Nice.
I mean,
Do you
I
feel like
just
you're
drop-
causing pain when you bring it down? What makes it, like, honestly speaking, I've been double-legged and felt like somebody set me down on the ground and they think they're nice. I'm like, nah, man, that dude hurt. Like,
yeah, I'm always using my forehead, or
love it.
just face into the chest. I'm trying to knock the wind out of you.
Love it.
Dude, that's what I like.
Dude,
to
there's
hear.
a massive difference. When they slide around you and try to do that stuff, like, where that's placed is night and day, dude.
Yeah.
Like, somebody that does it well, it's like when somebody comes in with a jumper and you're just sitting there like, oh, man, he did it right, and they pull up in your face, the elbow's perfect, and you're just watching them like, damn, he's way better than me.
Adam, I know Adam had a question here for you, Cannon.
I was just gonna ask, are you a UFC guy? Do you find yourself watching any like UFC, Bellator, or anything like that? Maybe like one championship?
Sometimes. I mean, I'm a really big John Jones fan.
Love
but,
it.
John Bones Jones, baby.
I was gonna say, are you like Usman or anything like that? Because just heavy wrestling base, he was one of the best wrestlers in recent years besides Habib.
Yeah, I just watch a lot of wrestling. I watch UFC highlights here and there, but that's about it.
What about like college wrestling or even, I guess, United States? Anybody that sticks out?
Oh,
I
Matt
love Jesse Mendez up there at Ohio State right now.
I'm a Jesse Mendez fan.
Dude, did you see the reverse he pulled off?
Oh yeah, I went nuts in my.
I've never
living room
seen
over-
anything like it. I swear to God, I've
sorry.
never seen anything like it.
I'm
Like,
so
dude,
sorry.
you'll watch this video and not even know wrestling and just be like, that was magic.
That
Like,
was magic.
Dude, he literally did a side somersault, like half Gamby roll, put this guy in perfect position, comes around, and never should have gotten any points out of this. And just, it was gorgeous. Two pretty much win. Like,
That's insane.
Clay didn't know what
Jesse
any of those words
Mendez,
were.
and it was against Penn State.
You said that was one of your guys. Anybody else?
I would say on the international circuit, big Jordan Burroughs fan.
Yep.
Okay.
Also a Austin DeSanto fan. I really look up to all those guys. I try to, kind of imitate them a
Dude,
lot.
great,
but
great men to look up to, too. The way they carry themselves is just.
Yeah. And,
elite.
and one thing I feel so, I don't think that why you're successful is only because of how good of a wrestler you are. Because, Caleb might get mad if I say this, but like we had good wrestlers like Caleb Price and I can't remember. There's a few other people in his grade that were good. And I went to Chillicothe my freshman year, and I was like, man, we got some dogs. Like, why do we kind of not pay as much of attention to wrestling? I feel like when you came, it was like, look, you have no choice. The school is paying attention to wrestling. I mean, it's basketball season, the only state title that they have in the sport, and people are like, cool. Have you seen this kid wrestle?
Yeah.
How has that been for you as like a transcending athlete at the school? Does it feel like pressure for you? Or are you just like, man, I don't care if one person or 100 people come and watch. I'm kicking their ass.
I just doesn't faze me at all. I mean,
Hell yeah.
I'm already looking past. Well, I'm looking at the me wrestling in the NCAA finals already.
Let's
so I just think
go. Have you had any offers? Have you thought about schools that you might want to go to for college?
I've had a few Division I schools reach out, but my top 3 so far are Ohio State, Penn State, or Iowa. I would love to wrestle for those.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Now,
like, if he said those schools in basketball and football, you'd be like, man, he's elite.
Yeah.
When you say those schools in wrestling,
oh no,
It's a level
it
above
is
elite.
just
yeah.
It's
not
Big
even.
10 and Big 12. Like, if you are wrestling in one of those schools, you are a guy I do not want to mess with.
I'm
now-
talking Penn State, Ohio. Penn State,
Are they
period.
like huge rivals in wrestling?
Dude, Penn State
Oh.
literally is just a
Yeah.
factory.
Yeah, because I feel like when you turn on the Big Ten network, again, this is not a shot, but I feel like every time I turn on the Big Ten network and it's wrestling, it's Ohio State versus Penn State. And it's
Iowa's
just-
got a
it's
bunch of
just-
guys too. But
And it's just the announcers going, "This is it. This is the this is the 2 teams."
well, the dudes that they have are guys like Bo Nickel,
Yeah.
that literally, again, just talking to McKenna, it's like he just didn't lose. Like the guy just came in here and he literally started doing.
Bo Nickel, guy that's a UFC guy now, doesn't really have any stand-up game. His wrestling is elite. Just crazy.
Do you know what they did though at Penn State? They started a small gym outside. That's the thing is like Penn State, they're building for the future out there.
Yeah.
I'm from Pennsylvania, but I would rather you go to Ohio State if you're talking about these schools. But Penn State's doing something really special out there. It's kind of crazy.
Now I want to ask you, like, do you play other sports? Have you played other sports that might have helped you in the wrestling game, or has it just been wrestling from day one?
Football a lot, but then I quit last year to just focus more on wrestling.
So do you
Because I've started to
do you think your wrestling helped you more in football, or your football helped you more in wrestling?
my wrestling helped me in my football.
I would
Absolutely.
totally agree with
It's
that.
the only
because-
reason I did it.
Yeah, because I felt
telling
I
you.
feel like from wrestling to football, there's like a lot of things that could transition. From football to wrestling, there's nothing.
Do you know what it
the
helps
biggest thing
with
is
a
hand
lot?
Fighting. The biggest thing is
Yeah.
hand fighting because our defensive line coach was the wrestling coach, and he was like, "If you want to be a football player for me on this defensive line, you have to wrestle for me."
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
that's
do
the
you
thing.
know-
have to
Makes
wrestle
sense.
for me.
The only reason I wrestled was actually because my basketball coach said it would make me more
With your
well-rounded
footwork.
with balance, everything. It's
Yeah.
really weird,
Well,
but
that and your conditioning.
discipline.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I was a hothead, and discipline is another thing you have to have in
Cross-country
wrestling.
runners have a problem with doing the conditioning of
wrestlers.
wrestlers. Like
Yeah.
wrestlers, that's a whole different thing. Like,
Yeah, and cross country's flex is our sport is your sport's punishment.
What do you walk around at, and in terms of what you wrestle at? And honestly, as you go up, are you gonna go up another weight class? Because I think you jumped one from freshman to sophomore, right?
Yeah, I wrestled 113 last year, and I wrestled 132 this year. I've been walking around at like 145-ish, 144.
Now,
But I'm going to stay the same this year, I hope.
now I want to ask you this because I know you said that you went to the state tournament in middle school, which again, an amazing feat in of itself. But when you get to high school, right, and you go into the shot for your state championship this year and last year, that because it's a 2-day event, right? You go there on I think a Friday and then win and go back on a Saturday. How did that feel last year and even this year? You're walking into the shot, and honestly, I think you're one of the first. You're the first Chillicothe wrestler that's been there in quite a while. So how is that feeling like for you?
Just felt like a same tournament. I mean,
Let's
bigger
go.
place, more people, but you can't let that phase you in
Yeah.
wrestling. If you're not gonna succeed.
Hey,
I-
pre-match, we had Makennah on again. She was talking about how she likes to walk back and forth. She likes to get in the mind frame that I'm about to tear you up. What are you doing pre-match? What are you thinking in your head?
I'm usually visualizing how the match is gonna go, blasting music in my ears, and then when I step on the mat, I do that thing where I get down on all fours and like shake a little bit. I picked that up from Austin DeSanto,
Yeah.
and then roll and go out there, and I just go out there to dominate.
One thing I need as a coach that I need to instantly elaborate on is how he said, "Yeah, I visualize how the match goes." That is how you become successful. That's how you win. This isn't just for wrestling. This is not just for basketball, football. This is for life in general. But we're going to apply it to basketball because we're a sports show. If you're sitting there before a game and you're visualizing, hi, Kona. If you're visualizing how, not hi, Kona. Hold on, I gotta get my dog. Coney, hi. No,
when
not.
you visualize how something's gonna go, it makes it a little easier to deal with when you see it, especially if.
Yeah, no. So what it is it's not even just visualizing, which, and I feel like you do this, so I'm going to paraphrase for you, and if you do, just let me know. Sorry, but like it's not just visualizing. All right, if this guy does this, I'm going to do this. It's going to go down like this, and then bam, and then I win. It's like what Coach Shu would tell us is like when we get on the bus and we go to the convo. Yes, visualize if I get the ball in this possession and it's this, blah, blah, I'm going to do this. But also visualize
how to beat the press.
No. Also visualize cutting down the nets. Everyone cheering for you. Visualize winning because once you're basically manifesting it, it has a better chance of it happening.
I completely agree.
Don't not think about what you're going to do in the game. But also think about the afterwards part. Like, what are you going to do once we win? What are you going to say after you cut down the net? What is it going to feel like whenever you cut down the net? Do you kind of do that yourself? Not just visualizing the match, but kind of try and visualize what it's going to be after you kick this dude's ass?
Yeah, I do that a lot. I visualized me on the podium and doing a celebration after I win, but it didn't happen this year.
Hey, listen, we know it didn't happen this year. But for the next 2 years, it's gonna happen. How's your summer wrestling go? You wrestling? It's like
do I want to know about the arch rivals as well because that goes into the summer stuff too.
Yeah.
Is there a specific wrestler that's been a thorn in your side? Somebody that's made you better? Again,
Magic
I talked
Johnson
about it before.
To your Larry Bird.
Screw you, Bob Scarabuza.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
We learned that he has one, and he thinks
I
about it
have
every
one.
day.
I would say Caleb. Caleb has made me so much better. He has one of the greatest wrestling minds I have ever been around.
Hell yeah.
And then rival wise, and my dad. My dad has been there since day one. And I would say rival wise, there's a kid from Watterson that I absolutely despise of. And we both do not like each other.
I hate him too.
Yeah, screw that guy. I hate him instantly. Do you guys go against Watterson next year?
No, I won't see him until the state tournament if he goes up a weight class.
Yep.
But
I'll be there next year and watch you kick his ass.
Dude, I swear to God.
But keep going. Sorry.
He beat me in the junior high state finals. I was also injured. I mean, it's not an excuse, but my knee was. I broke my kneecap before the state tournament, so I was wrestling on that.
Hold on. You broke your kneecap and kept wrestling?
Yeah, it was.
Let's go!
Wild.
I would not do that. So we're all clear. I would quit.
Dude, I stubbed my toe and was almost called off work for a week.
Yeah, I kept telling my dad, my knee's bothering me. He's like, well, we can either cut your season done right now or get an MRI or you can keep wrestling. And I knew I could make this finals and I could win it, so I was like, let's just keep wrestling.
Dude, the confidence you have to be like, yeah, do I have one knee? Sure. I know I'm at least getting to the finals on one knee.
He goes,
let me ask you this.
My knee was bothering me. I said, Dad, my knee hurts. I'll just wrestle it out.
Did
it's
your
broken kneecap.
Did your opponent know that you were favoring any leg? Because I've seen that a lot in wrestling. You get ankle injuries during a meet, and you pretty much, hey, this guy's got a weak back left because of this past match. But sometimes it doesn't always work out. But did your opponent know that at all?
Yeah, I had a giant knee brace on. It was the only way my knee would stop hurting. So he would, it was kind of my fault. I had a bad stance. That's the only reason he beat me. But
I love how he knows too. I love how he knows. He's like, yeah, listen, dude, I had a bad stance.
Inches.
Yeah,
it's inches, especially in a
people
final.
talk about with football, like it's a game of inches, and I feel like just having these two conversations and kind of learning throughout the year, like with wrestling, like it really does come down to like inches, like millimeters, even to how you execute.
100%.
And I feel like too, and really, I'm kind of asking you this question. It's kind of about timing, right? Because I feel like you can have a move, and you're like, well, if I do it now, it's not going to work. I got to kind of wait for the right time. Is that kind of part of your strategy as well? Is, yeah, I know the right move, but I also need to know the right time of the move?
Set it up.
Yeah, timing is a big factor. Big factor. Like first round at state this year. Kid hit me with a blast double, and I perfectly timed a roll and then stuck him in the first period. I mean,
ice!
Timing's there.
Love it.
Hey, you can't have ice in your veins.
Frozen solid.
Now, I want to ask you, because one thing I've kind of learned, honestly, first trying to get you on the show and now getting to talk to you, it seems like you and your dad, if I'm not mistaken, he is the wrestling coach as well. It seems like you guys have a really, really tight relationship. Me and my dad really got to do a lot of bonding because he was big in basketball. I was big in basketball. That's where we found our mutual love and kind of went from there. Has wrestling, made you and your dad kind of have that special relationship? Because it kind of seems like it's there for you guys.
Yeah, but I will admit we've had some big fights in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
And it's just there, and then as soon as we walk out of the room, it's over.
Right.
But yeah, it's grown me and my dad really close.
I love that. And
I want you to know this is very normal.
Yeah.
My best friend was the best wrestler on our team, amazing, went to nationals. Him and his dad he wasn't the coach, but him and his dad used to fight so bad at meets that one time him and his dad got in a shoving match. He stepped off the back part of the edge and twisted his ankle, had to wrestle the rest of the tournament because him and his dad almost got in a fist fight on the sidelines. So it's like, dude, wrestling's passionate. They want you to do well, but just know it's normal. I don't want you to feel
Coach Robertson and Braylon Robertson in a locker room one time, and I'm like, they're fighting.
Yeah,
like they are throwing hands.
I asked about did he know the injury because that specific meet, this gentleman knew that he had that ankle injury and just kept trying to shoot it. And Madosky knew exactly what he was doing. So sometimes you can use it to your not an advantage. You obviously wish your leg was better, but it's sometimes they want to pick it apart
on that and hit with something else. Now I gotta ask you, man, what was your favorite part about the state championship weekend, other than obvious, finishing third and all that stuff? Was there some stuff that you got to do while you're up there? I know it's just all business, but was there any cool moments or anything that really stuck out to you?
I would say the eating part. I love eating.
Hell yeah.
Watching my state title was a big moment for me. Yeah. As soon as a kid, I went absolutely berserk. Everyone around us thought I was an idiot. Ran down there. It was a great moment to watch.
Hell yeah, dude. People think I'm an idiot the entire time, and I make a show out of it. So don't let that put you down. Now, another question I want to ask you, man, is let's say next year you're winning the state title. I mean, honest to God, I'll put you up there. I think from the people I've talked to, from the clips I've watched now, again, I don't know anything about wrestling, so the clips I was just watching you destroy people, and I was like, yeah, he'd do that to me. But I think by the time that you're done in high school, you'll go down as one of the greatest wrestlers, if not in the state, at least in our area. So I got to ask you, next year when you win your state championship, and they're like, hey, here's your dream meal for eating after you win your state title, what is it going to be?
Probably a tomahawk steak.
Let's
a big steak
go! Are you picking that thing up by the bone and just take a big old bite out of that? He said, hell yeah.
What sides you getting, though? Let's spice it up.
Yeah, let's get a full course meal. 2 sides.
Probably mashed potato. Well, actually, baked potato, loaded baked potato, and probably green beans or broccoli.
Man, but you're missing the grease. Yeah. Where's the grease?
Dude, honestly, I thought he was about to say my 2 sides are going to be steak and another steak. Now, is there anything outside of wrestling and not sports-wise, playing music or just watching TV, anything that you like to do as a hobby to just kind of get a release from the stress of wrestling?
I'm a big hunter. I like to hunt a lot, and fishing. I'm a really avid fisher too.
Okay.
What's
your favorite thing to hunt?
No, what do you hunt
turkey.
with?
Huh?
Turkey season, I usually use my dad's 12 gauge. Deer season, I'm either using a compound crossbow or during gun season a 350 Legend.
Oh, nice. All right.
What do you shoot archery wise? That's much of what I know about, if I'm being honest.
Last name's Archer. Terrible archer.
I just started getting into compound hunting, so I suck at it. I missed a deer this year.
That's exactly, I'm telling you. I had a bow for 14 years. It was a piece of crap. I shot the hell out of it, and I swear I could hit a fly on the side of that garage out there. Right now, I went up to a PSE Brute, and I got no chance. I'm sitting in my backyard, and I'm like, I can't hunt with this. I'll shoot this motherfucker in the hoof, and it's going to be a bad time.
It's just going to look at you like, come on, dude, really?
So I haven't even tried to hunt with it, but
now, man, I got to ask you, too.
Wait, I want to ask, do you got a favorite fishing reel as well? Because I'm a Fluger Presidential kind of guy. Do you have a favorite reel or a favorite fish, even, I should say?
I'm a really big saltwater fisherman. So it's either in or Daiwa.
Yep.
And my favorite fish to catch, it's probably red drum. Those things are so much fun to catch.
I'm an Abby Garcia guy because I like the bass fish. I like the open face, or I guess it's bait caster.
Yeah,
just me.
Do you like to do a lot of deep sea fishing?
Oh yeah, I love deep sea fishing a lot.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys want to go do it this summer, let me know, man. Captain Glenn down in St. Petersburg, Florida, will get you down there in the red
boat.
snapper season. He has a great boat. He'll get you some good catching fish. So if you and your dad or anybody want to do that, let me know. I can get you hooked up on that for sure. I don't go because I suck, so I don't waste anybody's time.
well, with the red drum, it's exactly what I used to do with carp. It's like you like fish. Not everybody gets to go hook a tuna or go find a marlin or do something like that. You want a fish that, like, you got to die to get. Like, and so we used to go down and just try to pull in massive carp. Not that we ever wanted them, but it was just so freaking hard to reel them in. Red drum's the same way. It's a fun catch.
Now, Cannon, I want to ask, this summer, you got any big wrestling tournaments, any big summer plans, any big fishing trips you're going on?
We have a tuna charter in North Carolina in May.
Oh, he gets to hook tunas, baby.
I'm also going down to Fort Lauderdale to wrestle at it used to be called Disney Duels, but a bunch of college coaches go there. Best of the best wrestle there. So yeah,
that's why you're going. That's plain and simple. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for bringing Chillicothe Pride up there at the state wrestling tournament, and we know you're going to kick everybody's ass this summer and next year. So after you kick some ass this summer, we'll have to have you come back on and talk about it.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the absolute legend, Cannan Smith. Dude, and the only reason they got...
Can we go to states next year and literally just be Cannon out there?
The only thing is, I really thought it was the next weekend this year. Like, I think it just happened this past weekend. I thought it was this weekend. Because, like, tonight, I was going to be like, hey, guys, Saturday, we should go to the wrestling tournament. And then last Saturday, I was like, oh, no, we're not.
And then you remembered she already had 3 trophies.
Yeah. And that's what I say, too, man. Like, you got to put the reason I think you got to put Makennah 1 and him 2 is just because of years. Like, when she's been in it 3 years, he's been in it 2. I mean, like, but really, man, people talk about football and basketball, like, really even baseball for, like, Southern Ohio sports and volleyball. You got to put wrestling in there. I mean, every single year, somebody from the SVC or the FAC is going to state and either winning it or placing third. And honestly, nobody ever talks about it, you know? We tried to cover wrestling this year, then we realized how.
That's tough.
But we definitely need to do a better job of it next year, man, because we can't miss out on these dogs.
We really can't.
They're absolutely killing it. Like I said, dude, you can ask you. I quit basketball in the off season for 2 weeks, and I got with Sal, the wrestling coach there at Pay Valley. He goes, yeah, I think you do really good at like 200, and I was like, well, I'm sitting at 220. He goes, yeah, I don't think you do good at 220. I want you down at 200. I'm like, I think I'll do good at basketball. See you later, pal. Like, I love eating way too much. So,
you know what? I think I'm going to gain an extra 10 pounds. I'm going to go basketball season 230.
Yeah, just to prove a point. But yeah, guys, I mean, we had some great guests on. We got to talk a little college basketball. I think it's time to do a little draft. How about you?
Sure, yeah.
Ready to do a draft? So we drafted our favorite March Madness teams. My phone died, so I don't know the order because I can't look it up last time. But I think I went first last time. If I'm due,
I thought that we went first.
I'm pretty sure I went last.
We went first.
No, he went last.
No,
so
we went
first.
first.
So that means you're first, you're second, I'm last, right?
I thought we went first.
No, I definitely went last.
No, we both at the same time went first.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you're first by yourself.
Okay.
So are we doing 4 or 5 rounds?
Let's do 4.
Okay. Andy, can you write these down? Cool. All righty. Tony, you're up first. Who's the first team you're picking? Favorite March Madness team of all time?
So Bowling for Soup had a song called 1985. Do you remember that? 1985.
1985.
Yeah, cheesy song, but we loved it in our area because Villanova hadn't won another national championship yet, and they won it as the 8th seed in 85, as the lowest seed to ever win the tournament. So that's always a special team in my heart.
Okay. Adam.
He used it as an example. That 06-07 Florida Gators.
And honestly, I'm going to just let you pick that as one team because in 06 and 07, literally the same basketball team.
No, I was talking about the 06-07, like when they beat Ohio State, not the next year, but also the next year. I like that one.
But like that's what because I know your next pick you probably
So
would have
it's
picked.
06 to 08 is what it is.
Yeah. And again, I would not do this for any other picks, but to where that Florida team was the exact same team, like literally exact same team 2 years in a row, I think you just got to put them in there. And they went back-to-back titles. So we're going basically 06 to 08, right?
I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to say it like it's true fact. Billy Donovan, only two-time head coach. They're only back-to-back head coach, national champion since the round of 64.
Boring.
Since the round of 64, I do think that is correct. I don't know all time. I feel like, well,
Al Horford,
UCLA,
Joakim
John
Noah,
Wooden
Corey
do it. That was
Brewer.
64 teams. Yeah, that was it.
What?
When John Wooden did it,
No.
I didn't think that was 64. I think that was still like 32 or something like that.
What?
Alrighty.
It'd be UCLA.
My first,
Right. And they went back to back.
my first two
They
teams
went
are.
back to back.
My first two teams are pretty easy. Recency bias. Number one, obviously, would be super off brand if I didn't pick it. The 2010 Butler Bulldogs. Gordon Hayward literally made me fall in love with Butler. Dude, if he would have hit that half-court shot, talk about literally a life-changing event.
It's one of the worst birthdays I've ever had.
Yeah, because you wanted that to happen.
Yeah,
And
lost to Duke.
good old
Duke won a
Puke
championship on my
Freaking
birthday.
wins it. I hate him. And then the team that really got me in to the Cinderellas and March Madness and all that, the 11-seeded George Mason making it to the Final Four. Like, I just remember watching that on TV all the time, not really understanding that George Mason sucked, and like kind of looking back on it now, I was like, man, that was like the first true Cinderella. Like, I think they were, if I'm not mistaken, Andy, look this up. I think they were the first double-digit seed to make the Final Four. Am I right? Because I think they did it with Michigan's old coach, the Fab Five coach. He went to George Mason and did that. So Andy, look it up. I'm pretty sure they were the first double-digit seed to make the Final Four.
I thought they were 8.
Were they 8? I thought they were 11.
I thought Gulf Coast was 12. Remember Florida Gulf Coast, which is going to be my next
they made.
pick?
I was about to say, are you picking them?
Well,
Damn, I really thought that would
does-
get back to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Does it go back to Tony or does it go to me then Tony?
I thought.
Oh, it does go to you because you were.
Yeah,
saying
it
right?
does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Florida Gulf Coast. Like
yeah. Dude.
That was literally like I was
So
like,
what seed? What seed were they? And
I think they were 11 or 12. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, dude. No. They were at 15.
I thought they were 14.
They were at 15.
What
They
seed
could have been
was
at
Florida
14.
Gulf Coast when
But
they
they
went
were
on that
whatever
run?
seed they were the first seed to make it to the Sweet 16 of that. So that's why I want to say it was 15. But I'm not 100 % sure.
I just had it up, but it was Florida Gulf Coast seed when they went on that run 9 years ago. I know when it happened.
But he picks Florida Gulf Coast as he looks that up. Tony,
I'll take. I have to go Villanova again, and it's 2016 because
screw you.
We're
I
at-
hate you. No, I hate that 2016 team because I was 1,000,000% rooting for North Carolina. Okay, and Marcus Page made one of the greatest difficult shots I've ever seen in my life.
And then
only
they-
for this dude, I don't even remember his name, just walked down the court, no one guarding him, and bust that buzzer beater 3.
Are you talking about Ryan Archidiakono?
Yeah. Where did he play after Villanova?
He didn't. He played against
Exactly.
Will in basketball back in Philly. He literally, I swear to God.
That guy is the one. No.
But I loved it because he
They
came
were a
back
15
and
seed.
he
They were 15. Sorry,
And they were
Florida
the
Gulf Coast
first. They were the
15?
first 15 seed to win 2 games in a tournament to advance to the Sweet 16.
Cool.
They lost the Sweet 16 to Florida, but
He's like, can't throw that in
just
there.
saw that.
But back to the
pa-
worst championship team of all time.
I love
In
how
all
it wasn't
honesty-
even like a normal pass to shoot. He literally
Flipped it behind
almost,
him,
and the
that
guy
dude
just
was
pulls
deep as
up.
shit. And like, I called it, dude. I called it as soon as he caught it. I said, game over. I mean, it was so in rhythm, and again, first buzzer beater 3 to end the. When people have this debate, like, I'm sorry. Don't care if it wasn't the 2 best teams. Don't care if it wasn't truly the best game. It has to be the best championship game of all time. Because the only championship that literally won off a buzzer, what March is about, which also pisses me off that the Final Four is in April. I fucking hate that.
I love it.
I hate it.
I
It
love that
should
it's the
be in
beginning of
March.
April because it falls on my birthday.
I mean, yeah, okay. So I understand why you
Yeah.
personally would like it.
Yeah.
But like for it to be March Madness,
Well, by then all
And
the
it ends in
all the madness is done. To me, like all the
that
madness
was
is done.
madness. That's madness.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
not, it's
the
what
shot
you
bef-
expect.
The
from a
problem is the
championship.
shot before that was the true madness.
Like
Marcus Page should not have hit that shot, dude. They call it a double clutch. It was a triple clutch. Like, he had it here, and then
Screw you, Dallas Clary. You were sitting beside me on the couch talking hella shit, and that's the only
Hey, I
reason
used to mow his
Villanova won.
grass. Okay, but yeah, so you got that Villanova
I'm pretty
team.
sure I went to high school with him.
And your next,
Dallas Clary? I know a Dallas Clary.
it's probably the same here in Chillicothe.
Is he a big guy?
Glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to high school with him.
Yeah.
Oh, so we all know Dallas.
Did he go to Vinca? Yeah, he
all
might
I
have.
know is that
Who
he
knows?
hasn't won a playoff game in quite a while.
I'll also know that he was talking hella shit, picking UNC right to my face right when they
done the
hit
same
that
thing.
shot.
Actually,
And I literally stood up and did you see what happened on TV? It's like the ball went in for my team after you were talking crap about your team.
Dude, when that happened, I literally did not know how to react. But anyways, you got 2016 Villanova, 1985 Nova, and
Is this my fourth?
no, it's your third.
Okay, cool. Villanova 2018 pulling off another title. It was absolutely great. It solidified Jay Wright as a real coach.
And that one wasn't close.
Dante DiVincenzo.
Didn't you guys? I don't even know who you played, but you blew out whoever you played.
Is he
in
on
that
the
one.
Knicks?
Yeah.
DiVincenzo?
Yeah, he's part of that trio of the Knicks. That's basically the New York Wildcats.
Yeah.
Daddy like Jalen Brunson, baby.
Jalen says the dog. All right.
Oh,
Adam.
I gotta wait.
First pick pissed Derek off. This one's gonna piss Andy off. The 2013 Louisville Cardinals.
Yep. That was a good team, man. I mean,
Oh, dude. Russ Smith
Stuck
Peyton Siegel.
you?
listen,
Why did
just because they
Oh.
like strippers does not mean that they should be stripped of their title. Okay?
Ah.
Don't piss off the producers.
Yeah.
Oh, I made them both mad.
From
Adam's
now
like, well, I
on,
like to
just
go
make
for
the
double
screen
dose.
black. Every time somebody makes a bad,
I just
it's
double
like
dosed it.
beep.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to me. So I have George Mason. I have Butler. And then I'm going to go with – so if I truly had to pick like a favorite college basketball team, it would be North Carolina just because I've liked them since I was a kid growing up. And the real championship, I remember them winning because the other one that I would have watched them win, I was in boot camp, so you're welcome, was the 2009. And why I like that one the most, because Tyler Hansborough got one, Ty Lawson, blah, blah, blah. Before I say this, I do like Tom Izzo. But, like, all you hear is, like, how great Tom Izzo is, blah, blah, blah. Lead up to that. I mean, the championship was in Detroit. I mean, it was in your home place. And you, I think, being Michigan State, probably had – it's not like Butler where you're a Cinderella getting there. I mean, they were a 2-seed. Choke against Tyler Hansborough in the heels. So I'm going to go with the 2009 North Carolina Tar Heels. Tony, back to – oh, wait, no, I got to do my last one.
Yeah, and then it's back to
And I was
me.
also about to
Oh,
talk.
man.
Why you think I'm going to talk trash on the fact that he sits there and he's like, everything was talked about Tom Izzo leading up to that game. Roy Williams was your freaking coach. UNC is such a victim.
No, but Roy Williams is overrated. He has multiple titles. Tom Izzo has one in 2000.
Yeah, but they
That's what
weren't.
I'm
That's
saying.
why they were talking about Roy Williams. Like, I don't even remember Tom Izzo being in that game. He's a
'Cause he was
loser.
coach. He wasn't getting in the game.
Yeah, but he was a loser.
Thank you. Okay, so we're on the same team here, Tony. You're yelling at me for something I
Nah,
just
but
said.
I feel like you were making like UNC be like a victim. Like they
No.
would talk about Tom
No,
Izzo.
I'm not. Listen, UNC is
Crazy T.
North Carolina is
His
a blue blood.
eyeballs popped out of his eye sockets.
North Carolina is a blue blood.
He was
so they
crazy,
can never
dude.
truly be like
Psycho T. That
the
was
underdog or anything like that. What I was saying is all I remember leading up to that entire game was how great Tom Izzo is,
Trash.
and like his greatness is going to be why they win. Blah blah blah. It's like no, they're not.
He's trash.
They're going to get blown out in their home city. They lost by 20. To pick my last team, you know,
I was supposed to talk. You weren't supposed to talk, so you could pick it.
well, because I had one,
I know,
but now I'm kind of
Are we
like
doing
back
4
and forth.
teams, right?
Yes,
Four.
this is my
Okay.
last pick.
So then I get one more, right? Or-
Yeah, and
or-
I'm going to go with some recency bias only because the reason I'm picking them over the one that I want to pick, and I'll save it for the end, is because I didn't get to watch this one play. So I feel like I can't really, or like, I really don't know shit about them. So I can't pick them, but I will use them as my pick. So what I'm going to use for my pick is that Derrick Rose Memphis team, dude.
Loved it.
Because of Derrick Rose. I mean, he was one of the most electric college basketball players of all time. Absolute dog. And that was the first national championship game I watched that was an amazing freaking game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was overtime. And you had the big-ass
Was it
cowboy hat in the middle. Huh?
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas,
Yeah.
2008. Mario Chalmers.
Yep.
And that was the other thing, too. Like, Memphis was supposed to knock off a Blue Blood. And, I don't really remember how that game happened because it was in 2008. I was in, like, 5th grade. But, like, one thing I remember the most, that big-ass cowboy hat and it being a couple buzzer beaters. So, I'm going to go with Derrick Rose's 08 Memphis team. And, Tony, you get your last pick.
Oh, it's me then Tony because he had first.
That's right. Adam, you have your... Hey, I tried to set you up.
I
So
know.
you can steal it.
Yeah, no, so I'm going to do the 2002-2003 Syracuse National Championship team.
I'm surprised that I didn't think of that for you.
Yeah, I say it was the one I was wanting to sleep on. Definitely want to get Florida and Louisville first.
Yeah.
And then I was wanting to get.
And why are you picking that one, Adam?
Why I'm picking it?
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, I
my
know.
favorite
I just
player.
wanted them to know.
Like he's the reason why I fell in love with like New York sports as a whole. It's like,
Yeah. And what I like about Syracuse is like how they're I would say they're the college for basketball in New York. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
maybe not
like,
right now.
Well, you got to think
but,
I'm pretty sure isn't St. John's up there?
Yeah.
But like
But that's what I'm saying. Like maybe right now with Patino there, like St. John's against but historically,
that 2-3 zone, the Boeheim zone.
it's a legendary. It's weird to watch Syracuse now without the 2-3.
I hate
But
it.
what I like is that how they're orange and blue, and the Knicks
Are blue
orange
and
and blue.
orange.
Yeah, like they're basically weird because your other favorite team, Florida.
Blue and orange.
What are your two favorite colors, Adam?
Like it's not purple, Savannah.
Purple and gold? Is that
No,
what
it's
it
that
is?
maroon, baby. No,
All right.
it's maroon and it's like maroon and gray, but
All right, so Tony, you got one last pick to round out our draft.
Purple
There
and
it is,
gold.
baby. JMU.
I'll take. Damn. Now I want to say them,
Yeah.
but I'll take the '60s Ohio 1960 or 61 Ohio State team.
That's the last team that won the national championship.
Yeah, the reason why I like it though is just recency bias because I talked to this older gentleman and he was talking about Jerry Lucas.
Was Clark
John-
Kellogg on that team?
Nah, he was older.
I got an honor.
He was older?
No, sorry, like in the '80s.
Okay, I was like, there's no way. Is he playing in the 50s and he's still on CBS?
But they had Jerry Lucas and John Havlicek, and to listen to this man speak on Jerry Lucas, it meant a lot to him. And I'm like, you go back and you see Havlicek and you see what he did on the Celtics and stuff, and
Yeah.
you pick these old heads, and when you're building your NBA team, you're like, oh, Havlicek went to Ohio State, let me slap him on my team, and you learn a little bit more. But to see him actually like care about it that much and care about a dude that was like
I'm glad
that.
you said that because the team I didn't pick that I almost picked, and here's the reason why I really didn't pick them, is I think it's the 71 Hoosiers with like Isaiah Thomas and all them. They went undefeated, won the national championship. The last undefeated team like for the whole season. I think Kentucky did a regular season undefeated and then lost in the tournament.
That
So
was the John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins.
yeah, and so like
Lost to West Virginia and Bob Huggins.
yeah,
Shout out Bob.
Bob Huggins. He's
Bob.
definitely getting hired this year. Real quick, their last undefeated team, Bob Knight. I'm from Indiana, blah, blah, blah. Go to Bob Huggins. While we're on the show, have you seen the steam that's picking up with him to Louisville?
No, but I love that.
Dude, it's getting loud.
I love
I don't know if it's getting loud because he wants West Virginia to get their shit right and hire him back. But if he doesn't
It's
go,
loud on the Louisville win because we're done with Kenny Payne.
Louisville, I mean, it's right next to Cincinnati where he's well loved. I mean, let me tell you. He gets pulled over Cincinnati. We don't have this situation. That's all I got to say. So, Louisville being, I mean, I know it's what, 3 hours?
From here, it's
From
3.5.
So, from Cincy, it's
Cincinnati,
about like an
hour
hour.
and a half.
So, pretty much being right there for people. Like, I can see him going back to Louisville, man.
Real quick, I just want to say my honorable mention are those Baylor teams with Brittany Griner, the back-to-back where they went 80-0 basically. Just one of my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Just wanted to
Watch
wanted
it.
to throw it out there.
I know what you do. Tony, you have any honorable mentions?
Well, I gotta go JMU this year. Getting our again, dude.
Hey.
We've been
I think the year Humpty they went to the tournament.
I was watching against who?
I don't know.
Victor Oladipo.
Oh, really? They played against
Indiana.
Okay.
We played
So that's
Indiana,
cool.
and we were the 16 seed.
Humpty made it with 2 schools, JMU and Akron. He went his freshman year with Akron. They got blown out first round.
But again, I like getting the W. Again, we were a 12 seed, and we go against Duke, and everyone's like, "Are you mad?" are you mad that they lost? I was like, yes, I'm mad that they're lost. But, dude, we got our first tournament dub. We've been Division I Single A for 1 year. Ran the Sun Belt in football with 1 loss. And then come back in
31
and run it again.
3. Savannah is picking the 2021 Gonzaga because she got put into my family pool in 2021, first year. And my family lives and dies basketball. And she won because she said, I like to say Gonzaga and Baylor, but I like to say Baylor a little more. Won the whole damn thing. It was insane.
Winners win.
So, before we get out of here, have you guys seen the Quiet on Set documentary for HBO Max?
Yeah.
Boy, if you like Nickelodeon, don't watch that show. It will ruin your childhood.
All I'm
like
going to
that.
say is what I told you yes. No, I'm not going to say that on live
I was
air,
like,
dude.
what was that, Adam?
I'm
say
not
it.
saying that on
say
live
it. Are we
air.
going to get say it?
No,
Okay. I thought we were
no.
going to get out of there for a second. But yeah, so damn. Dan Schneider, not a good guy.
Awful guy.
Not a good person. So, if you like late 90s, early 2000s Nickelodeon.
Or the Redskins. Dan Snyder also owns the Redskins, and he's a piece of shit, too.
Yeah.
It's 2 different Dan Snyders. They both suck.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah, it is.
so if your name is Dan Schneider out there,
You
change it.
suck.
Or change it. Well, guys, I guess that wraps up our show for today. Any last words before we all dive into
Be
another
nice
week?
to people. Random acts of kindness.
Yes,
Overly
please.
hold a door
Olives.
for too long.
Yes, if you don't hold a door for somebody this week, we don't like it.
Hey, if you don't hold it open, do the exact opposite. Hold
Dude,
it closed.
and
I'm
when-
all about negativity this week, baby.
What?
Hurt somebody's feelings.
So that's not what we're about.
I don't even want to be a part of it.
He said, hold it close. So, yeah, be a friend, tell a friend. Make sure you reach out to somebody. You never know what they're going through. Could change their life just by reaching out and letting them know that you're there for them. So make sure that you're reaching out to your friends, being there for them. Make sure that if your bracket got busted, you burn it in the trash. Other than that, have a good week, and we'll see you next Monday. Make sure you sign up for that 3-on-3 tournament. Peace out, Girl Scout.